Hey, how's it going? We're going live with Higurashi When They Cry Kai, but more specifically, Chapter 5, Meakashi. So, yeah, we're live. Totally didn't forget. I didn't forget. We're here. We're streaming. It's day 143 of the streak. Still going. So we have June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's a year. That's when it happens. It's I know, right? Anyways, so yeah, yesterday we streamed in the morning, and then I went. So lately, my schedule's been I sleep at noon, and then I wake up like 6 or 7. So same thing happened today. It's just I didn't stream in the morning because for whatever reason. What I did do since yesterday, 8 p.m., I think it was when I woke up, 8 p.m., I was going to stream Higurashi in the night. But then I thought, what if I play Terraria? And so I did for a long while. Did I play in the morning and then just do more in the afternoon? I can't recall. I don't recall. But I know that I played Terraria last night for a good while, like 14 hours, with an hour break in between. I don't know, journey mode's just fun. It tackles that itch of collecting everything, and then yeah. I mean, I know there's this one map that has all the items already collected, except in journey mode you can't do that unless somewhere has already collected and they give you the items and then you can do it that way. But I don't have people like that, so I don't know if there's a map like that. There probably is. I would imagine, yeah, they would make a journey mode variant, wouldn't they? Yeah. It's fine. I'm having fun. That's all that matters. I'm also doing the fishing quests, which used to be a pain, but now they're currently pretty easy to do. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Plus God mode is fun. I mean, it can be as fun as as God mode can be, but just going at my own pace, no worries about the monsters, no worries about dying, having to go back to the spot, recollect my money. It's great. It's fun. I like it. So, I don't know how many items I've collected in total, but there's like over 5,000 items in the game, so it'll be a blast to collect them all. There's no achievement for it, but it's fun. I'm having fun. That's all that matters, right? It is a shame that we didn't stream more of Higurashi, but we're here now. We're doing it. I have to control myself from the Terraria. The reason why I didn't stream Terraria, I don't know. I just wanted to not worry, I guess. Just have some fun. Just stream it. Or just play it. Plus, there's not really much. Well, I mean, it's something, right? It's better than nothing. But yeah. It's been fun. Terraria. So last we left off on this game, we finished Chapter 7. I think we're starting Chapter 8 for sure, right? Let me go back to it. Yeah. Starting Chapter 8. Did I move this? Did. Okay. So I believe we just finished 1982 and all those events, right? So next chapter should be jumping us to the present, quote-unquote present, of 1983, and then seeing those events from Xian's perspective. So, yeah, it's good stuff. It's Higurashi. Can't go wrong with it. We gotta beat it. My current projection is that it's gonna be mid-June when we finish it, but that could be very, very off. I mean, it depends how fast we go through it, right? I don't know how much game is left. Story. It's not really a game, right? How much story is left in this chapter, but it's either I'm gonna beat it within What time do we have? I'm not going to beat it within 3 hours. That's a bad guesstimate. I think we're going to stop in like 3 to 4 to 5 hours. I'm not sure yet. Let's see what happens. But it would be the stream after that. After we take a break. That's when we would come back and then finish this. Could be 4 a.m., could be 5 a.m., I don't know. We'll see. See what happens. But, yeah. I'm enjoying the story, for sure. That's just Terraria. I just need a day break with Terraria. No, we're fine. The box spring has arrived. And it's very comfy. It's a little taller. I think it's the tallest bed I've ever slept on. Well, besides, tallest bed of my own that I've ever slept on. I want to say maybe some hotels and my siblings' bed compare to this. But it's pretty tall. Gets the job done, though. I mean, I'm a tall guy. I mean, like to say that I am. But yeah, this is pretty tall. But anyways, that's done. So now I don't have to worry about that. Really, all I have to do left is just no, I mean, we had the channel trailer, right? So I guess that's done technically. So we can get Adobe Premiere Pro. Well, so okay. Deviating to the channel trailer. I'm stalling, basically. So the channel trailer, I don't know if I talked about it. I made it in a day, because, I mean, the offline channel pages that rolled out, and I was like, well, shit, I don't have the thing ready. I don't have my idea ready. So let's just make a quick video. It's silly. Scrolling through the drawer, or shelf that has all my old PS2, Xbox 360 games. Looks like PS3, but I don't really have that. I was such a fool to sell those games to GameStop. With the cashback, trade back bullshit. That's fine. We're okay now. It's just a shame that we lost those games. We could have streamed it, but we didn't know. We didn't have the foresight. Great foresight. Speaking of, isn't Premiere available now? Hold on. Let me check. Amazon. Premiere. Because that's the thing I gotta buy. Premiere Japanese language, Premiere Blu-ray. It is available. Blu-ray plus DVD. Plus the digital. I think it's just the Blu-ray, right? It doesn't have the plus digital code. Damn. I need it. Amazon's Choice. Shipped and sold from Amazon. Okay. Wait, Sonic's already available? Not that I'm gonna buy it, but that means I can rent it, right? Or not yet? Surely that means it can be rented. You can rent it. Oh my god. Well, why should I be? Don't be too excited about Sonic. Anyways, yeah, Premiere, channel trailer. So I could work on the channel the original idea, but the way, right? So I filmed it like right before they uploaded it. And then I edited it using DaVinci Resolve. The problem with DaVinci Resolve is that I couldn't get the audio to work during the preview process. So I had to render the video first to see how it synced up and all that. And then if it didn't sync up, then I'd have to go back, trim it, edit it. It was a whole ordeal. This is why I'm not too big of a fan of editing videos and whatnot. It's just, yeah. I mean, it pays off, but also, I don't know, I'm lazy, I guess. If I'm not inspired, like I was with that, then I wouldn't get into it. Pepe Hands, all the Angel Sapphire videos, those were fun. That was a fun time. But rip. Anyways, so yeah, Channel Trailer 2, I don't know. I guess next year. When we get Adobe Premiere Pro. And Windows 10. Well, Windows 10 first, right? Anyways. Guess that's enough stalling. Let's go. Let's start. Oh, man. Sad music. Page 42, 34, okay. Thinking about voice acting more and more, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. Sorry. What did you just say? This is information from a reliable source. It appears that they found the murderer of Satoshi Kun's aunt. It had been a few weeks since the murder, so we're not in the present yet. Satoshi Kun still hadn't been found. I had no new information on his whereabouts. Kasai's report came, as a result, completely out of the blue. Does that mean the police arrested the culprit? It seems that he confessed during his interrogation regarding the case. That sounded strange. If it was Satoshi Kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. It sounded as though Satoshi Kun wasn't the culprit. Kasai, who's the culprit? So it wasn't Satoshi Kun? He swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi Kun. The police in Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi Kun did it. Don't worry. It doesn't seem like it's Satoshi Kun. I heard it was a lunatic who was aiming to continue the series of mysterious deaths. What? A lunatic? What do you mean? Kasai shrugged. I don't know. Since the investigation is classified as a confidential case, the information I can get is limited. Confidential? Why? At least my throat's not, or my mouth isn't, like, weird like last time. To prevent the village from developing a bad reputation. You don't see articles about kidnapping while the police are negotiating with the culprit, do you? It's something similar to that. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper. These strange deaths have happened 4 years in a row now, on the day of Watanagashi. There are those who try to make light of it. Now this lunatic who confessed the aunt's murder said he did it in imitation of the series of mysterious deaths. Kasai didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi Kun killed her. I thought that was the reason he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever. So, Satoshi Kun had nothing to do with the murder? If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. And what's really strange is the phrase Kasai used, 4 years in a row now. After all, I've been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi Kun had been in a dire situation, and had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi Kun's case had become somebody else's. The series of mysterious deaths in Yamazawa is also known as the Curse of Oishiro-sama. Satoshi Kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi Kun's case has become a part of Oishiro-sama's curse. I didn't like the way that sounded, because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi Kun. Back to the police station. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to confirm the tip that Satoshi Kun took a train to Tokyo. We don't even know whether or not he's in this prefecture, to be honest. Oishi broke the seal on a new can of instant coffee. Instant coffee? Thought you knew his whereabouts already, since he seemed very convinced he was the culprit. You got me. Oishi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee, which looked far too hot. You have some good sources. Huh? It's a highly classified case, but you already have this information. I wonder who leaked it. Looks like we need to review our security precautions. Oishi smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today. I'm one of the Sonozakis, after all. My ears are open. I smirked back at him. It's all about bluffing. Anyway, since we're friends now, why don't we have a chat? Foo. Let me ask you first. Who's this real culprit? I heard he was a lunatic, but what does that mean? But I mean, he died, right? Like immediately after confessing? Nahahaha. I don't know how to answer that question. I want to know the answer myself. Really, I was convinced Satoshi-kun was the real culprit. It was rather surprising for me, too. Yoichi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wryly. I suddenly received a call from the prefectural police the other day. They've said that one of the guys in the detention confessed to the murder of a housewife. Who is it? He's a crazy dopehead. He's been in and out of prison for drug abuse. His statement says that he was interested in the series of mysterious deaths and wanted to imitate them. Are you sure he's the real culprit? I didn't interrogate him myself, but the prefectural police tells me that he has information that only the real culprit would know. Seems to have thrown the murder weapon into the Ouija River. Ouija? They're searching for it right now. If it's found, his statement will be solid. Even if the weapon wasn't found, would the case be closed? So, Ouija River, or Oji, that's the same place where the body at the beginning of Chapter 3 was located near, right? It's like one of those houses. So, possible connection, I guess? Even if the weapon wasn't found, would the case be closed? Probably. His statement clearly outlines the state of the crime scene and the body. This information, like I said, covers details that only the actual murderer would know. You don't seem quite convinced. Yoichi, still looking up at the ceiling, went quiet. As a matter of fact, the dopehead was already dead by the time I got their call. Dead? You know those spoons that are forked at the tip? Sporks? They use those at the detention facility. I was told that he swallowed one and choked on it. Gross. I couldn't tell if it was a suicide or if it was caused by some mental disorder. I imagine somebody was swallowing that spoon and gagged. Yeah. So the investigation hadn't been done that thoroughly, but although I'm not convinced, my superiors are. I think with that, the case would close. Uishi turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. They're doing a lot more. He looks serious. This is just what I personally feel, okay? It's like extended. So please keep it between the two of us. I believe that this lunatic is some kind of mistake. Might be either a big misunderstanding caused by a chain of coincidences, or, you know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I still believe that the real culprit is Satoshi Hojo-kun. You sound confident. Yeah, they're doing a lot more. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything to prove he was at the crime scene. We obtained a warrant to search his house after he disappeared, but we still found nothing. But you still believe he did it? Yes. I wonder how you can be so sure even though you don't have any evidence. Lurk? Sounds good, Effie. Thanks for the lurk. It's incredible. Is that supposed to be like the hunch of an experienced detective? Yep. It's the hunch of a guy who's been in this business for several decades. Also, thank you for suggesting that in time. I adored it already. No problem, Effie. Lurk. Sounds good. Ah, shit. Didn't mean to click. It's the hunch of a guy who's been in the business for several decades. She smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved. Where did Satoshi-kun go? His disappearance convinced me that he was the culprit. If he wasn't the culprit, there'd be no real reason for him to disappear. What if the murder actually was done by that lunatic and Satoshi-kun's disappearance has nothing to do with it? In other words, what if Satoshi-kun disappeared because the Sonozaki family didn't like my relationship with him? And he has nothing to do with the murder. Was Satoshi-kun a culprit, or a victim? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear. I don't think they'd bother to make one person disappear just because of an undesirable relationship. What do you hear from inside the Sonozaki family? Do you know anything? I wouldn't be here if I did. You're right. I wish he laughed out loud while scratching his head. And after he stopped laughing, he leaned over. Alright, how about this? Why don't we make a deal? Gentleman's deal. A deal? On what? On information about Satoshi-kun's disappearance. If you find any information like that, you tell me, and I'll also provide you with information if I find any. Do we have a deal? Sounds too convenient for you. The way she chuckled. Shion-san, I think if we leave things as they are, they'll conclude that the lunatic committed the murder. If that happens, Satoshi-kun's disappearance will be treated as just another runaway minor. They won't search for him as actively as before. But I'll continue searching for him. Only I will do it. I believe you're intending to do the same. Our motives are different, though. I just want to know if he's safe, but you'd like to arrest him, wouldn't you? If the murder case was considered solved, Satoshi-kun would be free. Regardless of his innocence. I doubt that. Leisha chuckled again, but a smile didn't reach his eyes. Well, let's be friends from now on. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, no? Not opposed to the Sonozaki family, though. Oh, really? I apologize, then. This is the way of Kurata Oishi, huh? As Sisson Kasai said, I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally, because both would be too risky. Probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. Wow. I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though I wasn't thirsty. Outside the window I could see normal life taking its course. But Satoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. And I'm scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was he? I wonder how Satoshi-kun is doing. Hope he's alright. No, you think he might be dead. Don't patronize me. Do you know what people are calling his disappearance in Hinamizawa? Huh? They say that he was demoned away. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's part of the local dialect. He was kidnapped and taken to hell through the bottom of the Onagafuji swamp. That's ridiculous. Anyway, the series of mysterious deaths has struck for the 4th time. Sorry, I keep checking something. Anyways, the series of mysterious deaths has struck for the 4th time. It's too soon, but people are already talking about it next year. Are you saying that the murder was the result of Yoshio-sama's curse? Hold on, let me answer something real quick. Unless I realized I didn't mute. Okay, we're fine. Are you saying that the murder was the result of Hiroshio-sama's curse? The victim was one of the Hojos, after all. She was involved in the dam conflict, though indirectly. Really, it's not surprising that some people take an interest in the incidents, because they do always happen on the day of Watanagashi. That's ridiculous too. Hiroshio-sama's curse? Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. Let me check something. Okay. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Yes. Okay, let's go in order. Was it the Sonozaki family? No. Did he run away from the police? No. Maybe. He maybe did, but then he got caught. Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Yes. Why did he even disappear? Well, maybe not, because right, he bought the teddy bear. I'm under the assumption that he bought the teddy bear, and that he got caught on the way back. I don't know. Why did he even disappear? I don't know. He's on his own. Oishio-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But, That's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oyoshiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? Well, from Rena and Uncle Yoshiro. Oh, that's right. That rainy day. It was Rena Ryugu who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. Ah, I remember the creepy story that she told me at that time. Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away, even if only unconsciously. That's what Rena Ryugu said. Rena had definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at that time. She also said, everything he's going through is a sign of Oyoshiro-sama's curse. She said that, for sure. She had definitely mentioned Oyoshiro-sama's curse. The series of mysterious deaths has struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why you killed his aunt and was demoned away? No way. That can't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Oh. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. Must have been done by a human being. Can't accept that he was demoned away. Did we reach page 43? I don't know. But it's just an excerpt from her notes. Also, right, those are the intermissions. Hit the library again? I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case, with a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. Milk tea. Does it have boba in it? I did it all in one go. I sat down in a new chair, then opened my notebook again, scribbled my thoughts, and sank into silence. Oh, jeez. The series of mysterious deaths, dubbed the Curse of Oyoshiro-sama. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though it was followed by another one. I never looked at all the cases as part of one big scheme. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year, the construction site manager. Second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. Third year, the priest. Fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the 4th year, one could consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim, rather than his aunt. But consider that each case arose from the grudge over the dam conflict. It's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol for dam construction itself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction. It wasn't as clear a target. That manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Oyoshiro-sama had really cursed someone, he would have been the officials from the ministry. It's apparent that... what was this thing? It's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. Forgot about this thing. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. It's said that they fell from a cliff in some part, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the dam construction, even though they were also from Hinamizawa. The Hojo family was ostracized during the dam conflict in order to prevent further pro-dam activists from rising up. That means that the Hojos were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The Hojos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people that fell victim to the curse, and it seemed that the grudge over the dam conflict had ended. Yet those incidents were followed by another one. The third year, the leader of one of the 3 families, the priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Oyoshiro-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. Neon admitted that the Sonozaki family didn't like the priest's attitude. They didn't like how the priest had been generous toward the pro-dam activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility, enemy, traitor, and dissident. This meant that the curse was actually payment. It was a punishment for the criminals of war. In the 4th year, I didn't understand this case at first, but to be honest, at first I believed this case was separate from the other ones, even though it occurred on the same day. Never thought there would be any relation to the other three. But when I wrote it down and looked at it objectively, the victim is a relative of a traitor. After enemy, traitor, and dissident, relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally as a fourth target. On the day the villagers worship Orisho-sama, their guardian deity, the criminals of the Dan conflict have been punished by the curse. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these things out, I started thinking that the fourth incident might be in line with a series of mysterious deaths after all. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or the dopehead, it seemed that they were forced to play the role of a murderer as part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun was the real culprit, even if he killed his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seemed synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his pain. But what if somebody planned that as part of a scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested to him to kill his aunt on that day, that night, at that place. I had no doubts that Satoshi-kun decided to kill her in order to protect Satoko, but did he really reach that conclusion on his own? Satoshi-kun was optimistic, and somewhat detached as far as I know. Would he really have considered murdering his aunt, even if it was to protect his sister? Couldn't it be possible for somebody to have chosen the aunt as the fourth year's murder beforehand? It's possible. And they used Satoshi-kun? Or... yeah, I don't know. And Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them? Looking at it that way, the murder of the first year resembles this case. The other idea is that they plan around the death. Like, the death's gonna happen, but they plan around it. And they make it work. Who's they? I don't know. Looking at it that way, the murder of the first year resembles this case. The main culprit behind that case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that their fight had turned into a slaughter. But wouldn't it be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation? What if he had been told to kill someone on that day, at that time, and in that place? I'm certain. The first murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. So, did that mean Satoshi-kun was being controlled by somebody else? Oishi had presented me with the hypothesis that the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to end my relationship with the murderer. Because I'm thinking back to Keiichi, when he went crazy and decided to kill Teppei. He just snapped. So it could be the same with Satoshi. He just snapped and then it just worked out. That was the murder. But when I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance didn't seem too spontaneous. It seemed like part of a bigger plan. But then again, it could be, right, incepted the idea of the curse. So that way, yeah, it's just, this'll be the death. Blah, blah, blah. It seemed like part of a bigger plan. Since I unexpectedly got involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. Then Satoshi-kun was demoned away, as planned. At first, I also believed that the Sonozaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of a family of traitors. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I wasn't the reason for his disappearance after all. Even if I never met him in the first place. Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982 and then disappear. At one point, I had been thinking of taking revenge on the hag. I believe that she separated us. What if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I need to understand the series of mysterious deaths in order to solve this mystery. What did all these deaths mean? Who was behind them, and what purpose did they serve? I want to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I want to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also called Oishiro-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oishiro-sama? What blessings does he bring? What punishments does he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in the notebook. What's Oishiro-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it. that I didn't realize somebody had been standing behind me, watching me, the whole time. I couldn't stop myself from gasping when I realized that. Oh. Of course it's her. I'm sorry. Did I startle you? Hee hee. The intelligent-looking woman giggled. No, I was just a bit surprised. Sorry about that. She could have apologized a little better, too, since she'd been watching me from behind. But she just stared at my face instead. Are you Shion Sonozaki-san? How does she know that? You must know sis, since you know my name, but I don't know who you are. Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are. Hehe, I'm sorry. The Sonozaki-san I know would never be seen in a library, so I assumed that you were her twin sister. The woman giggled again. Well, you were right. I'm Shion Sonozaki. Nice to meet you. May I ask your name? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself first. She seemed to love her own hair, because she kept running her fingers through it boastfully. I'm Mio Takano. You can call me Mio Shion-chan. Nice to meet you, Takano-san. Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hate meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk. Oh, are you upset? Thank you for your concern. I like to be alone when thinking, so I'm moving to another spot. Excuse me. That's a shame. I thought we'd be good friends. Did you? I don't think so. I finally met someone with the same passion, a fellow researcher of Oshiro-sama's curse. I think it's quite unusual to meet someone like that. She saw my notes. My face reddened. These are just theories. It's all nonsense. Just childish scribbles. The series of mysterious deaths is also known as Oshiro-sama's curse. Though each death is an independent incident, all of them clearly share the same purpose. Each year, someone dies of a curse, and someone else is sacrificed and disappears. What? What are you saying all of a sudden? Someone dies and someone else... What? I was taken aback by her weird spiel, but I realized right away that she'd said something extraordinary. Didn't you notice that the number of victims is always even? Haven't you realized that yet? The number of victims is always even? I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The damn construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. In the second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi-kun, so it was 2 people. In the third year, it was the priest, and if her death was also planned, his wife, 2 again. And in this year, the 4th year, Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun went missing. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance was planned, the number of the victims was 2. It's true. Except for the first one, the victims always came in an even number, 2. Wait. I just concluded myself that the first case resembled the 4th one. The main culprit was still missing. He might have been demoned away, just like Satoshi-kun. See? Doesn't it make sense now? Takano-san sounded like a teacher who had showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what she'd said either. Did I give you enough hints? I really would have enjoyed a conversation with you, but I think you prefer being alone. Hehehe. I'm sorry that I wasn't respectful, Mio-san. Please call me Shion. Hehehe. She seemed content that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. Let me check something real quick. Babby is live. Okay. I think we're good. Discord, OBS, game. Do we have the tab up? We do. Okay, right, he just started. I was like, wait, he's already at Phil Champion? That can't be right. She didn't seem that reliable. Didn't want to be acquainted with her for too long. I don't get to talk to people very much. What she said interested me. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Mio Takano. Call me Mio. Pleased to meet you, Mio-san. I'm Shion Sonozaki, Mion's twin sister. Please call me Shion. I took the hand that Mio-san held out as a sign of reconciliation. Please tell me more. You said that there are always 2 victims? One dies due to the curse and the other one is a sacrifice? Shion-chan, Before we get into that, could you tell me why you became interested in this? She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable. Mio-san, how much do you know about me? I guess you have an idea if you know my name. I don't know much, just that you recently returned from boarding school. I see. So I think you can imagine that I want to know about the series of mysterious deaths that happened while I was away. I'm just curious. I see. You're curious, eh? Well, it's like not many people knew that Mion had a twin sister, right? And then it was just the police, and then Satoshi. How does she know? I got the impression that she knew about what happened to Satoshi-kun and me, because she instantly recognized me as Shion, not Mion. Didn't know why I thought that way, and she shouldn't have access to the sources that, for instance, Oishi does. It was just the look in her eyes that made me think that way. Let me ask you a question this time. You called me a fellow researcher of Oshiro-sama's curse, didn't you? So why are you researching the curse? You also say that there's always an even number of victims in the mysterious deaths. It's true that Hinamizawa's mysterious deaths are often called Oshiro-sama's curse, but why would you delve into the mysterious deaths if you're researching the curse itself? Shion-chan, you're asking too many questions at once. I can't tell what you really want to know. Also, chair squeak. Hold on. It's like this chair is dying. Oh, I couldn't say anything in return. Or, ooh. Man, I don't know. Maybe I've been too inquisitive. I'll answer your questions one by one. Not just researching the curse, as my subject is much broader than that. Is it paused? Hold on. Pause and play. Okay. I'll answer your questions one by one. Not just researching the curse, as my subject is much broader than that. I'm researching the history of Onegafuchi village. In plain terms, I'm researching the dark and ancient history of Hinamizawa. Onegafuchi village? Isn't Onegafuchi the bottomless swamp some people believe is connected to hell? And what dark history? I kept asking questions. Mio-san, however, looked pleased to hear them. Onegafuchi village is the old name for Hinamizawa, as it was known back before the Meiji era. About the dark history, you know a little about the man-eating demons, I assume. Ah, the man-eating demons, huh? That was a fairy tale told in Hinamizawa. A long time ago, demons came out of the swamp, and while the villagers battled with them, they ended up living peacefully together. The villagers transcended and became a sacred people, having demon blood in their veins. That long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my mind, vividly. You know the story because you're a villager, of course. But what about the story of the cannibal banquet? Eh? What's that? You know that the villagers have the blood of man-eating demons in their veins, don't you? Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I dodged the question. Hinamizawa used to be a desolate village, but it grew in prominence after the Second World War, and expanded its influence to Okunomiya and other areas. The people who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us man-eating demons. I remember that. The young villagers don't take it seriously, but the older people can get seriously upset about it. They certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term man-eating demons is forbidden. We normally never use it. Even during my rebellious phase, I never spoke those words. Mio-san, however, seemed to have no qualms with saying it out loud. Are you upset? About what? I know people hate that phrase in Hinamizawa. I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable. The old people wouldn't like it, but I'm fine. Would you continue? Thanks. Okay, so, the ancient villagers had a custom of cannibalism. They ritualized this custom and held various ceremonies based around it. The festival we hold in June isn't just an early summer festival. It used to be a banquet in which the villagers chased after a sacrifice and ate them. They bound the sacrifice to a table, gutted them, and dumped the organs into a river. Wata can mean cotton, but it also means organs. That's the root of the word watanagashi. Organ drifting. Watanagashi. Indeed, I believe they started using futon mats to cover it all up around the Meiji era, according to my research. They wouldn't be able to do that openly nowadays. Everything Mio-san was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. I couldn't wholly believe it right away. She sensed that from my expression. It's not a hoax. I didn't make any of this up. If you promise not to tell anyone, I can show you my notes on Watanagashi. Mio-san took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research thoroughly. Thank you. I'd love to read it. Sure. I'd like to keep it confidential. Hehehe. But I guess I should share it with my fellow researcher. Mio-san handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. It looked like it'd take a whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. I saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of hers. He told me that one person dies because of the curse and another person is sacrificed and disappears, right? Person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi-kun had gone missing. Did it become a sacrifice? What is a sacrifice anyway? Mio-san looked pleased to hear my questions again. She took out another notebook and handed it to me. It's just chock full of books. I think you'll understand once you've read it, but I'll give you a digest version. Oyoshiro-sama's curse is simply Oyoshiro-sama's anger. In other words, the curse is caused by Oyoshiro-sama's anger. Do you follow? Yes. You're saying that Oyoshiro-sama was mad at the people who opposed the village during the dam conflict. That's why the curse occurred. That's right. Oyoshiro-sama's anger has to be pacified. If not, something even worse will occur. So, all the successive priests at the Furude Shrine had to perform a sacrifice every time the curse struck in order to pacify Oyoshiro-sama. It's called a sacrificial ritual. So, each year on the day of Watanagashi, one person dies because of this curse. Another one is sacrificed to pacify Oyoshiro-sama's anger. But only one person is actually murdered each time. I've never heard of human sacrifices being made. Naturally, there's no body. The ritual of sacrifice requires the offspring to be sunk into Onigafuchi Swamp. That swamp is bottomless, and no one would ever surface once they were thrown in there. No body would never be found, of course. I mean, nothing's truly bottomless, right? So, one of the victims is always thrown to the swamp every year. Does that mean Satoshi-kun is also at the bottom of that dark green swamp? I don't know. Not sure that they really throw them into the swamp. But those who make these incidents happen must be eliminating one person based on that legend. Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the day of Watanagashi because of Oyoshiro-sama's curse. And another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Oyoshiro-sama's anger. That person's body will never be found because he or she is supposedly thrown to the bottom of the swamp. Yes, you get it. Series of mysterious deaths always involves both the curse and sacrifice. It's a system that allows two traitors to die every year. What I'm telling you now probably isn't sufficient, so it might be hard to grasp. Instead, I want you to take the time to read my notes. You'll see that what I'm telling you isn't far from the truth at all. I heard a man's voice just then. A middle-aged man with a hat was waving at Mio-san from the entrance. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to talk to you more, but I guess we'll have another chance to chat. I'll leave those notes to you. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. Mio-san wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her old notebooks in my hands. Mio-san waved at me as she left the library with her companion. I took a seat again and opened what she'd given me. What bugged me was a series of mysterious deaths, also known as the curse of Oyoshiro-sama. Maybe I'd be able to get closer to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I studied them carefully, I might be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi-kun have to disappear? What was he involved in? How did it happen? Maybe Takano's notes would bring me the answer. Research notes. Mio Takano. I started flipping the pages, this time making sure that no one was watching over my shoulder. So we don't get to read along with her. I mean, I guess we already read the notes, right? Ourselves. In the previous chapters. It was time for the library to close. I had to leave. I bought some food on my way home. I shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door of the neighboring apartment open. Kasai lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of the nearly empty apartment building anyway. I clearly heard the door open and close. Kasai must have noticed that I came home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I unlocked the door and shouted out to him. Is that you, Kasai? I'll leave the door unlocked for you. Not Kasai. Oh, shit. I'm not Kasai-san, Shion. That voice. I twitched. Can I come in? Sure, sis. The door slowly opened. Okay. My alter ego, Mion Sonozaki, appeared. She was holding a box of cake, while smiling timidly. Are you going to keep standing there until I escort you? Come in. Sorry, this room doesn't look very cute. Looks comfortable. Sis looked a bit tense when entering my room. It was her first time here. How's life? New school is as boring as I thought it would be. I usually go, but I skip classes when I don't feel up to it. Couldn't do that when I was going to St. Lucia's. So St. Lucia's was really tough, huh? You should go there sometime. Sorry. I brought cake. Let's eat. Mion opened the box. I saw 2 cheesecakes there. We have the same taste in food, so we don't have to fight if we get 2 of the same thing. Chatted with her over the cheesecake. Talked to her about school and whatnot. If you need furniture, tell me. Might be able to get some for you. I finally got used to this room, but I might move out soon, so furniture won't be necessary. Thanks, though. Dad wants me to come back home. I don't want to live with him, but he sounds desperate. He'd be pleased if he came home. You looked lonely while you were gone. You can only say that because you don't have to live with him. Come to think of it, this was the first time I talked to Sis since I was allowed to live with Shion Sonozaki. She didn't look like how she was at the Sonozaki house that day. The successor of the Sonozaki family and my twin sister are 2 different people. Demon lives inside the leader of the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same, except for the tattoo of a demon on her back. Mion's destiny as a successor was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that night was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails, I momentarily despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd have done the same. Shion, how are your fingernails? The wounds have closed. I don't bandage them anymore because it looks too conspicuous. But my nails still look ugly, so I don't really like showing them to people. I sneered at her, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Mion grew quiet and looked down. You don't have to apologize. You did what you had to do. You just played the role of the successor. Not holding any grudges. I'm sorry. Okay. Apology accepted. But, if you apologize one more time, that'll be cancelled. I won't forgive you for the rest of my life. Huh? What do you mean? Once you start apologizing, you never stop. So I'm cutting you off. Will you really forgive me? About Satoshi-kun as well? My heart ached when she mentioned his name. It felt just like acne. It felt just like the ache of an old wound. I figured you loved him. No wonder. I shouted out loud in front of all of you. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Granny truly believes you've atoned. She thinks you've done all you need to do. So the matter is finished. That's good. My pain won't go to waste then. I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to, though. I started choking when I heard her say that. I just said it to her myself. I said that I had forgiven her completely, but that promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said, I felt like I'd turned into a completely different person. What did you just say, Mion? Did you say I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to? Who else could know other than you and your folks? What did you say? Where did he go? I felt my eyeballs reddening in anger. Felt as though they were about to pop. I choked on a burning sensation in my throat. So that's when she snaps. Mion's expression rapidly changed. It looked like she noticed the devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We could understand each other's thoughts without voicing them. So showing our expressions was like unveiling everything in our hearts to the other. Sorry. Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mina apologized. felt like strangling her. I was gonna make her confess where she'd hid Satoshi-kun. She told me she'd throw him into the Onigafuchi swamp. I'd strangle her to death right then and there. So, she's snapping just like Keiichi did. I really don't know what happened to Satoshi-kun. That's a lie. It's true. Granny doesn't know anything either. Please believe me. That's a lie. Are you saying that Oishiro-sama's curse demoned him away? So the first "that's a lie" was, right. She didn't say that out loud. There can't be a curse. There can't be. Words kept coming out of my mouth, like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking by my own will anymore. It was the demon who was controlling me. The demon that had been sleeping deep inside me woke up and was speaking through my mouth. My hands, the demon's hands, grabbed Mion by the neck. You guys demoned Satoshi-kun away. You and the Sonozaki family. Give him back to me. Give him back! My hands slowly but surely squeezed Mion's neck. Mion put her hands onto mine. I looked at her fingers. 3 of the fingernails on her left hand looked as ugly as mine. Oh shit, she went through the torture? Mion? What's this? Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't have to answer. She had the same scars as I did. She atoned as well. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. So did she get those wounds around the same time as I did? It was unfair that only you had to go through that. I felt so bad. Mion started sobbing. I stood there, petrified, still wringing Mion's neck. Since I found out you love Satoshi-kun, I really wanted you to be happy. Because it's always only you who has to suffer, even though we're twins. It didn't come as a surprise to me that Mion might also have loved Satoshi-kun as I did. We've always liked the same stuff, and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obligated towards someone like me. I told Granny to leave you and Satoshi-kun alone. I shouted at her. Hip. Then she said she'd let you be if you atoned with sincerity. And you did. So you were supposed to live happily with him. But Satoshi-kun has gone away. It's terrible. That's... Mion isn't smart enough to shed crocodile tears. Those tears were real. Our tears dissolved my demon's anger like how the sun melts ice. Believe me, Shion, I really don't know why Satoshi-kun disappeared. Neither Granny nor the Sonozaki family have anything to do with it. Granny forgave you, so she would never do anything to him. Mion, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? I took my hands off her neck and held her instead. Not hurt. You've been hurt a lot more than me, haven't you? I don't know if it's like sob or hick, but... I shouted at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I had been convinced it was the Sonozaki family that made Satoshi-kun disappear, but Mion denied it, while shedding tears. Between her and me, her tears are more convincing than any words. So I believe in her. It absolutely wasn't the Sonozaki family that made him disappear. So what changes her mind? So, do you really think that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of Oishiro-sama's curse? I don't believe in curses, and Mion didn't do it. If it wasn't the curse or the Sonozaki family, who demoned him away? I don't know. I just know it's not Mion. It's not the Sonozaki family because Mion says so. That's stupid, Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi-kun's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, demon. I can hear his voice. I know he's mumbling with an ambivalent expression like he always used to do, even though he knows help won't come. I'll help him, no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. Ooh, hey, Mr. Wu. You just want to take it out on somebody. Doesn't matter who. But I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to take control. Fuck off. Don't ever show up again. The demon faded away. My body went limp, and I fell to the floor while holding Mion. Shion, are you alright? I'm alright now, Mion. Why are we two different individuals? Why can't we just be one? Stop it. We've asked ourselves that so many times, but there's no answer. I'm Shion, and you're Mion. Hold on. Okay. Fuck off, don't ever show up again. Okay, fine, guess I'll leave. That was unfortunate timing. But hey, Mr. Wu, how's it going? 2 more months. Until we re-zero. Hopefully. I'm Shion and you're Mion. That's just how it is. I don't care if I'm Mion or Shion. I just want to be one and equal with you. There's nothing we can do. You have the demon on your back. You're destined to become the successor. And we can't change that. I don't want that. I don't need a demon. I don't want it. I'm not a demon. I'm not. I want to be a human like you. Mion is a demon, and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. Was it impossible for humans to live with demons after all? Should be possible, because they did it before. That's the legend of Hinamizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together, as Orishiro-sama watched over them. Mion, Shion, Satoshi-kun, demons, humans. Orishiro-sama's curse, a series of mysterious deaths, Satoshi-kun's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other. While holding everything. I'm doing good, can't stay long as I'm about to sleep, but I thought I'd hop on for a bit. Sounds good, Mr. Wu. Thanks for stopping by. Hope all is well. I mean, right, you're doing good. Yeah, get that sleep, get that rest. Finally got my box spring today, so now I can get that good sleep as well. Sounds like a weird version of the prologue to Undertale. Oh, the theme that's playing right now? I can kind of hear that. 50, 64, and 85? Damn, okay. She's been writing a lot. Payment. Oh, gross. The fingernails. No, I just mean the dialogue. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Humans and monsters, I guess. I can see that. I saw Mio Takano a few times after that. How long did that take? Oh, that was like an hour for that chapter. Okay. At her core, she was fascinated with the bizarre, and she had an insatiable curiosity that was just as strong. I have to remind myself not to take her story too seriously. Otherwise, I might start believing that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of a curse. She talks about the dark history of Hinamizawa a lot. It's all very interesting. Her theories are based on nothing but conjecture, but some of her intuition covers facts that only members of the Sonozaki family would know. She thinks that Oyashiro-sama's curse is the continuation of these ancient rituals. In other words, she believes that the curse is performed by religious fanatics. So yeah, if they had a heart-to-heart, what causes her to freak out and kill everybody? According to her theory, a religious cult once existed in Hinamizawa. Well, I guess she didn't kill everybody. Technically, that was chapter 3. And the 3 families stem from it. She believes that they are operating behind the scenes in order to revive the dignity of the Onogonafuchi people, which was lost during the Meiji era. Mio-san's theories are far-reaching, and looking at them on a larger scale, they end up making a lot of sense. But they can't offer any explanation for Satoshi-kun's disappearance when using them on a smaller one. Her theories are just too broad. So on purpose. 64. I exchange information with Oishi every now and then. We'd each expect new leads from each other, but neither of us had any luck. I no longer believe the tip that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo. It was clearly bogus anyway. Anyways, I'm gonna head out, gonna sleep, wonder how much search history hasn't got me arrested yet. And remember, Felix best girl. I mean, have you seen long-haired Rem? Because that's where it's at. Yeah, didn't they announce that the FBI can now go through your search history without a warrant or something? Stay safe, Mr. Wu. But yeah, have a good night. Although I can't befriend Oishi, he's been fair about the deal. He alone has been serious about uncovering any new information. Oishi's sources are quite reliable, so whenever I found some dubious tip, I check with him to see if it was valid. My My meetings with him have diminished in frequency since he's been assigned to new cases. Eventually, we stopped meeting entirely. Luigi stopped investigating, and I reached the limits of my sources of information. People now think that Satoshi-kun's disappearance was a supernatural phenomenon called demoning away. In Hinamizawa, they refer to his disappearance as him having transferred, and nobody will talk about it otherwise. I don't like the way that phrase is used to erase him. Wait, what? Did you say about the FBI? Wasn't there, some bill that's being put up to a vote that the FBI can now search people's search histories without a warrant? I don't know. I might have that wrong, but I thought I remember seeing that in the news recently. Right, didn't Keiichi say to Shion about Satoshi, and that maybe that's what does it? Yeah, because he asked her about the transfer, right? Also this thing. So pleasant. During the upheaval surrounding Oishiro-sama's curse in 1982, I was pulled this way, and that by new leads on Satoshi-kun's disappearance, every time I found information that looked promising, I kept changing my theories. But that also became an incredible burden on me. It wore me down plenty on its own. Well, if that's the case, I guess I have to fucking move to Japan. Just go to Canada, Mr. Wu. You'll be fine there. Although I guess the borders are locked, right? The fatigue was harsh, but it's also provided a very kind acceptance. Bit by bit, it soothed away the anger, sadness, and doubt that wore me down. I'll never forget Satoshi-kun. I'll never try to forget him and move on. Anyway, see ya. See ya, Mr. Wu. Constantly repeated those to myself in my head. I repeated them to keep my memories of Satoshi-kun from fading too, over and over. For the sake of my fun memories of Satoshi-kun, together with my fear, my sadness, I repeated them forever and ever. Damn. Well, so next chapter, 1983, right? 109. Yeah, 1983. Time to see Ketchup. The fourth year of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as Oishiro-sama's curse, 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okonomiya, but I had some friends there now. Since I got a part-time job at my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to get to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still used the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. Oh wait. Okay, so she didn't move in. Right. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there today. Damn that teacher. She told my parents that I was skipping classes. My dad got upset, and that was why I didn't want to stay at home. I'd been asking for it, though. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza and that he gets really scary when he's mad. On the whole, my life had been going well so far, except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going grocery shopping and thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. Oh wait. Isn't there a 100 yen sale today? Oh, that's right. Well, no, they needed the Angel Mort first. Yeah, there is. Knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. Well, my arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow. What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. There are 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. She does it twice? They all fell like dominoes. It was beautiful and so much fun. Oh. This was odd. I felt like I'd gone through the exact same experience before. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall when that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looked like these punks were the owners of those motorcycles. They started shouting at me. This really was strange. I was having deja vu. Wait a second. Well, I guess this is a different reality. The fuck are you, bitch? What do you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch. Grah. Gotta pay for what you did. It's the same dialogue, I think. That's right. That's when I met Satoshi-kun for the first time. He came to save me. If I pretend to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish, and I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my ears. Cut it out. Can't you see she's crying? Oh my god! It's our boy! It's our guy! It's funny, so wait, we saw Satoshi-kun's sprite for the first time in this chapter. Now we get to see Keiichi's. That's cool. That's awesome. But yeah, this is a different reality. Right, because Keiichi lit it in chapter 2. It was a boy about my age. I couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. Satoshi-kun? Of course, it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. When I snapped out of my daydream, I realized that it wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak. Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. I gotta see how he looks like without the Steam art. Well, you know, it's not bad. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. What the hell? What the fuck are ye? You wanna get hurt or what? Fucking say something, son of a bitch. The boy looked a bit taken aback. Ah, well, I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so... Huh? The fuck you think? You're telling us what you do. Whoa, whoa. Hold on. I'm against violence. What was up with this guy? I felt ashamed that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun, even for a second. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all. Well, I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles are knocked down, but I hope you don't feel too bad about it. How can I make you feel better? Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know. If you don't got the money, then... If you got no money, you gotta pay with your body. This chick's got some real nice boobies. Let's strip her down and see. Hee 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 hee. Well, yeah. Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened my grip on the stun gun in my pocket. Then I turned it up to maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs. I love it when girls get stripped in those porn videos. Of course. Yeah, the strippings is better than the actual sex. Jesus. They indulge in their imaginations, which arouse their spirits. Hey now, why are you perverts closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. Are you gonna try and violate me? Stripping's awesome! Strip her, ha, yeah! Let's strip her from the top to the bottom. Socks off, she'll be as naked as the Jaybird. Jaybird? Hey, are you out of your mind? Don't touch me with those filthy hands. Then a flash of light cut through the air. Is that the boy? Stupid fox! Blows like thunderbolts knock the punks down. Wow, so he's actually strong after all. What the hell? You want some? Huh? You don't have a clue. Idiots. What the fuck are you on about? There's nothing rousing about stark nakedness. Leave her socks on at least. No matter what. That is an ironclad rule. Jesus. Listen up, monkeys. What's the difference between Homo sapiens and other animals? That's right, humans wear clothes. Human beings without clothes are just animals. If you get aroused only when the girl's completely naked, you are less than human. Might as well be animals. I'm gonna knock some sense into you. Clench those teeth! Jesus. Woof. Oh, God. You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you? Let's say there's a cosplay sex video. The definition of cosplay is too broad. To lecture on that subject is as difficult as explaining the spirit of Yamato to Yankee's parachute. What? Okay. What are the three most prominent divisions in the large category of school uniforms? Answer me, that's right. Regular uniforms, gym uniforms, school swimsuits. While the sailor style and blazer style are included under regular uniforms, by the way, gym shorts and bloomers are likewise, and the color preference between white. Let's say each of you has a preference in one of these three divisions. Hey you, tall one, you take the regular uniform. Fat one, you take the gym uniform. And you, the short one, you take the school swimsuit. Picture the image in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again. Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination. Come on. Yeah, say yes sir when you got it. Are you really military men, you maggots? Good. You all see the image in your head. Imagine that your favorite cosplay is stripped entirely naked because of your super desire. Now think, if they take all their clothes off, that's not cosplay anymore, is it? That sort of video is rampant lately. It's just lamentable. Humans without clothes aren't civilized, they're animals. If only naked girls excited you, you'd be a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants. Pack your bags and get out. Wait, get back. As you know, a huge amount of Russian porn vids are going around lately thanks to the end of the Cold War. You don't know that? Get out of here. I heard that style called beautiful Russian schoolgirl, which is a combination of the Japanese uniform fetish and some Russian thing, is emerging, but I'll never accept that. School uniforms are part of Japanese culture and art. These stupid barbarians will never understand the Japanese spirit. Are you listening? You pathetic squid? Clench your teeth. I'll train you till you drop. I'll let you sleep until you're capable of perfecting your imagination silks. Here comes... At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. Please tell me, okay. Because we gotta go through. Oh, man. Human beings without clothes are just humans. Clench those teeth. Definition cosplay is too broad. Reflection on the subject is difficult as explaining the spirit of Yamato to Yankees parachuting down from B-29s. So I'll limit the scope to the most popular one, school uniforms. Blazer style. Between white and navy school swimsuits is the same. Well, doesn't this sound exciting already? Picture this image in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again. Good, you all seem to have the image in your heads now. Let's move on. You'd be a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants. Pack your bags and get out. Wait, get back here. Jesus. Pathetic squid, clench your teeth. I'll train you till you drop. Won't you sleep until you're capable of... Is that the end? At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. Here comes my whip. Wait. Here comes my whip. Okay. Capable of perfecting your imagination skills. Here comes my whip. Gotcha. Mibara-san, I gathered some people. I saw several kids running towards us. Seemed like our backup had arrived. Ah, shit. Let's get out of here. 3 punks had just been saying they were agape, but they started running away when they saw that many people. Oh, man. That was something. Jesus. You're awesome, Mibara-san. You had those punks transfixed all by yourself. One of them even had a nosebleed. You're so strong, Mibara-san. Is it Okamura and Tomita? Phew. Seems my personal aura has grown more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon surpass even coaches. Made in heaven, reality marvel. Okay. I mean, that's JoJo's reference, but also Fate. Was Fate a thing back then? Must have been, right? Anyway, are you alright, Neon? The boy is apparently called Mibara. Turned around and faced me. Even though he mistook me for Mion, sounded like Satoshi-kun. But Satoshi-kun is on pervert like him. So wait, so this is different, but how does that work? I guess, right, him bring up Satoshi did it, maybe? That sparked the fire? That made her go crazy? But Satoshi-kun isn't a pervert like him. I was anxious to see how you fight back, but I guess 3 guys were too many, huh? I don't believe it. I was still confused. I couldn't get grasp the situation. Who was this guy? Neon has friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock, so I forgot to move, until his hand touched my head. Well, you know, I'll forget that I saw you cry. So cheer up, okay? Rub, rub. The boy called Mibara stroked my head roughly. Didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on... Hey Gus! Let's go. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Maebara. Kei-chan for short. He's one grade below us. Not only that, but he just moved to Yamazawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he'd already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him. But Satoshi-kun is way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from Sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. Felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. Love to tease her about it. Thanks, Kei-chan. Let me buy you a drink. My uncle's restaurant is just nearby, so why don't we go there? Satoshi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Keiichi Maebara said okay within 2 seconds. You have awoken? Nice. How you... Did you have a good rest? Of course Keiichi would say yes. Well then, I couldn't wait to tease the two of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. Whoa, hey, don't cling to my arm. Oh, don't you like it? Well, I don't hate it, but it's just your breasts that are touching me and... My breasts bother you? Hehehehe. You did? Nice. The Keiichi Maebara was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile. I guess Kei-chan is really your favorite. Huh, sis? What's the most interesting thing about him? Let's see. To put it plainly, he's just funny. For example, just a couple days ago, in the club, Mion really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him, but my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. I wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? I think that was the... I don't know. Is that the hardest I've laughed? Because that was just a ridiculous situation. The case had already been solved, though. That dopehead was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. Shouldn't think about it too much. Oh wait, I know. The case was confidential, so the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public. So Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he'd be waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Satoko at least? He should tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. Ah, that stupid Satoko. She'd been living with Rika Furude since Satoshi-kun went away. So nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl. Don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality... Wait. Huh. Given Satoshi-kun's personality... Right, she wouldn't be there. Gotcha. He wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number. So he wouldn't be able to contact... Right, she's explaining it. So he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinazawa. Maybe he's been calling Satoko every night. Keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satoko might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always. Humph. I imitated his voice without realizing it. After that, eh? What? What's up? Didn't you say something, Shion? I laughed it off and urged Mion to continue. I realized then that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan, but Mion sounded grim now. Her faint smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on, so instead I concentrated on her story instead. Oh, what is this? Huh. Uncle Iroh? after all that. Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift. Everybody except me. Except for me. Okay, except for you. I wanted one too, but I couldn't say it in front of everybody. Still can't express your needs, huh? And then? Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of tears. Oh, the cutest doll was in Kei-chan's bag. And you wanted that doll? Didn't matter which one, but although Kei-chan knew only I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. That's what he said. Damn. That was Keiichi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun. I want to start all over. I want to go back to when I just met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning. Don't take it too seriously. It'll be okay, because it's just you who wants to start over. Well, he didn't even notice anything wrong. It'd be harder if you guys fought over it, or something. What's going on, Effie? Oh? What's up, Gus? Can I start over? If you didn't cry in front of them, it's not too late. You can cry as much as you want now. And if you show them a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it. Okay. You seem to be in some sort of distress. You need to go to some remote place and screech. That's fair. I'm in a lot of distress. I don't know. Well, hope it turns out okay. Okay. I'm amazed how insensitive he is, but part of that is just the impression you've been giving him so far. If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind. Despair. How do I change my attitude? How? If I tell you to act cute, you'd start going to school in frilly clothes. So don't think and just be natural. But without overdoing it, pay attention to how you behave around him. Don't forget to be cautious of Rena. She's a bit ahead of you so far. Kei-chan might prefer Rena at this point. Oh, it's true. Rena's really girly. She's cute and caring. If you mimic the sound of a bobcat and shout outside, nobody would even know it's you. It's a good strat. That just means you can't slack off for even a moment. 200 IQ. Sis, because you got a rival. Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them. You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts. Is this Shion's advice? Yeah, I guess it is. That's how you typically do it. Maybe I should try that on Kei-chan myself. Okay, yeah. No, don't. He's the boy you like, so I guess it's natural that I like him too. How can I attract him? Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? Jesus. Oh no, Shion. No, never. I'll kick you into orbit if you come near Hinamizawa. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. I remove that emote from my channel in favor of Roach Fight, by the way. Oh, 200 IQ? Oh no. Wait, but don't you have more slots? Because isn't it like 25 emotes? Or not? Maybe not. I can't remember from before Better Twitch TV days. I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is, or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mion was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow on with red tearful eyes, but I sensed a deeply negative feeling emerging inside me. Nobody was blaming Mion for being happy with Keiichi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mion's mind anymore. Filled as it was with Kate-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back or not. Just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all the time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Keiichi Maebara. And if I let my guard down, he might just fill up the space I'd been saving for Satoshi-kun. If Shion Sonozaki had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Felt that the derpier ones were more fun and incredibly happy. 200 IQ. Oh, I mean, nothing wrong with that. It's your emote choices, right? Then the incredibly happy. Good type. My breakfast is definitely going to be 3 donuts because nobody can stop. Oh wait, is there dialogue? There is. There's text I'm missing. Nobody can stop me. Devious. I so adore Yep W. Hold up. Wait, why am I missing text? I thought I had the setup worked out. Search history. I guess I am missing text. No, that's fine. I guess we'll reread. If Shion Sonozaki had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections. And I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oishiro-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely his survival seemed. I'd returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her, and then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I'd made new friends, and in the same way, as falling leaves covered the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early, and it'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the raining season now, but we had no rain at all. The Botanagashi festival was right around the corner. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Hinamizawa, they don't allow you to talk openly about Oshiro-sama's curse, or the series of mysterious deaths. Roach. Aw, indeed. Yeah, I don't have a roach. Whoops. So, everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. Maybe next year. Wait, did Babby win? Shit. Oh shit, I didn't see. Well, I also didn't check. That's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traders. I'll have to check if this chapter is done. He fell victim to Oshiro-sama's curse on the 4th year running. He was deemed away. Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living in Hinamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable, but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Keiichi Mibara wouldn't even know him. He seriously believed that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi-kun. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be at a baseball game with you again, and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you, and I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was so warm. I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. What? I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me, who's been sleeping since last year, is slowly waking up. Oh boy. That's a big jump. 70 pages. Well, I guess throughout the whole year, right? But still. Yeah. Let me do a quick BRB. 1 minute. Alright, we're back. Okay. We are A-okay. Oops. Okay. So he didn't win. That's unfortunate. That's okay. He'll get him next time. Anyways. OBS, Discord, OBS, game. Shit. Okay. The dialogue's still there. Humph, I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Keiichi-san. He is a boy, after all. Mi-chan, Shi-chan, Keiichi-kun looks confused. How? Did you hear that, sis? We're not playing tug-of-war here. Are you trying to tear Kei-chan apart? I'm not playing tug-of-war. You're the one who's stretching him. Go back to Okunomiya, Shion. Okay, I will. Oops. I let go of Keiichi suddenly, so he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush headfirst. What lively people. See you, Kei-chan. Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going. Oh, Shion. Thanks for today. Forget it. Didn't do much. See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. He stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Excuse me, I'm going. See you, sis. Don't ever come here again. Rena, keep your eyes on her. Satoko, set traps. Rika-chan, purify this area with salt. The warmth remained on the top of my head. It felt ticklish and sore. Boing. I guess so. But for Shion, sure. I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against the telephone pole. I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun. I'm sorry. Have I friggin' heard a cockroach walking around in a quiet room? I take cicadas any day. Have I heard a cockroach roaming around? I don't think I have. Cockroaches, though. No bugs, please. I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Never forgot about you. I still remember you. Cicadas are the sound of summer. Comfy? Oh, chill. Still remember you. I'm worthless without you. Can't stand life without you because it's gray and cold and boring. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't. See you, Shion. Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. I recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all. No. Oh, Satoshi-kun. Oh, wah. Humph. Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this. But he knew that he had better say something. He wanted to say something. But he didn't know what to say. So he just mumbled. I'm sorry, Shion. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi-kun? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change, my heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart, little by little. Welcome to Headbats, the visual novel. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me. So don't say that. I've been here with you all this time. But I think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. That's not true. No. Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me. Tell me where you are. What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me. There isn't an address. I knew it. Telling me you've always been with me, always by my side. That's such a cliche. Rika-cha. Which do you prefer, Shion? Well, which do you prefer, Shion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. Don't say that. I want to be with you, always. I want to be with you, forever. Okay. I'll stay with you then. A car passed by. The noise snapped me out of my reverie. Huff, huff. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home to Okunomiya. You're with me, right? You're with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I stopped when I reached my bike. But then I heard an extra footstep. Oh, shit. I gasped. But also... Okay. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me. So I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But He was definitely still there. Oh, she's confusing. Okay, I see. Satoshi-kun. I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I've just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun. The breeze tickled my hair. I felt cold, but to me, it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Also, this is a pleasant theme. Where it comes from. Well, there's clues. Wait, is that the chapter or no? It isn't. Okay, hold on. Okay, I was too scared to sleep. If I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi-kun there in the morning. So I kept talking to him until I passed out. I told him about what happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I'd searched for him, looking into various different things. I'd gather underground information through Kasai and bargain for police information with Oishi. But I couldn't find any leads. A long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. I like this thing. Etc., etc. I told him all details from my daily life. The places I wanted to go with him. The things I wanted to do with him. The food I wanted to share with him. And I told him a lot of things. I was sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I lay down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I'd ever had. Damn. Poor Shion. I feel kind of bad. I must ask you more about this emote. Babby found it. That is fantastic. When I woke up, I didn't find Satoshi-kun by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That was why I didn't want to go to sleep. I was afraid of it, so I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I'd resigned myself to that. I felt Satoshi-kun's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all. I thank God. So she still feels it. Okay. And so I began my strange life with Satoshi-kun. As promised, Satoshi-kun was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head. But he was always with me. I mean, it's a pleasant idea. Always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed that all I could hear was his footsteps. That's just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. Because why would Satoshi-kun make noises for Tomitake and Keiichi? Who else heard the footsteps? Not Akasaka, right? I don't think so. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in the crowd. But he never left me. If we were tangible, I'd be taking his hand all the time so that he wouldn't be lost. No, I guess I'm thinking of Keiichi again. Right, because of Chapter 3. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were, because he was just a presence. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. Also, hold on. Move that there. Okay. At first, I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore. But Satoshi-kun got upset about that. He'd keep mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him. However, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, and I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Satoshi-kun will always be by my side. Yeah, that was his promise. He never breaks his promises. Did he promise that, though? That was fine, because he was there. Of course, I couldn't tell anybody about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. But I was certain that he was with me. So, I'd be alright. It was like, they're very passive, right? I never get fed up with my life. I never get fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know? We always walk together. When I stop, he always walks one extra step. That's so adorable, I love it. This is sad. Poor Shion. Shion-san, what are you gonna do? I'm Watanagashi this year. Guess I'll have some fun at the festival. Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. Want to go to the festival with Satoshi-kun. I knew he'd like to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan, but Satoshi-kun isn't very sensitive in that way. Satoshi-kun loves to see me and my friends have fun, so I should have a lot of fun for his sake. Then I talk about the day with him later. How are you going to Hinamizawa? I can give you a ride if you want. I'm taking my moped, so you don't have to. That won't do. Aren't you going to the family party afterwards? Can't let you drive under the influence. He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink. Alright, take me then. Good. Let's leave before nightfall. I'll come pick you up around that time. After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi-kun was excited about going to the festival. Watanagashi, huh? So it's been almost a year since he went away. Satoshi-kun seemed confused. Bet you're going all humph right now, aren't you? Hahaha. We laughed together. Ah, man. Is it Watanagashi already? Or it is? What? Jesus. Welcome. Here's your net and bowl. Great. Wow, these fish are so active. They look delicious. Well, there's a boing. 2 boings? I could eat this little one raw, right here. Huh? What are you saying, Neon-san? Mi-chan, you eat goldfish? Did you eat the one I gave you last year too? No, I didn't say that. Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red. But you just said it. You said they look delicious. I heard it too. Sis eats everything as long as it fits inside her mouth. Jesus. If it's really good, I'll try it once. No, you can't. Rika-chan, you're gonna get sick. Wait a minute. Hey, you. How long have you been here, Shion? Hi, Kei-chan, Sis, and everyone else. Good evening. Ah, when did you get here, Shion? I've been here since you were at the chow mein booth. I found you guys quickly since you were making so much noise. Hey, you're not in our club. Get lost. Don't be mean, Sis. Right? Kei-chan? You're fine if I come with you guys, right? I took Kei-chan's arm and held it between my breasts. Jesus. Puff, puff. We're gonna have a ball. Did Rena punch Shion? Or is that Mion? What happened? I went around the booths with Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Kei-chan and Sis too. Kei-chan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad that I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. As it turned out, it was somebody I knew. Oh hey. Oh, looks like you're having fun. Good evening, Shion-chan. The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Oh, it's been forever, Takano-san. And you're... Nice to meet you. I'm Toмотake. Heard you were Mion-chan's twin sister. Nice to meet you too, Toмотake-san. Heard you were a great cameraman. Please take a picture of me someday. I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional. Well, you're actually great, Jiro-san. You're good at many things. Hehehe. No, I need to study more. I have no talent, so I have to put out a lot of effort to compensate. We must have been in a relationship. You two look so happy together. Am I interrupting you? Oh no. I appreciate your consideration, but you're not interrupting. You're not interrupting us at all. And you can call me Mio, like before. Not Takano-san. It's a bit hard for me to call someone older than me by her first name. Well, never mind. I smiled bashfully, and Takano-san smiled back elegantly. I haven't seen you in the library since. I want to talk to you more, as a fellow researcher. Well, when I feel like it. Fellow researcher? Are you interested in it too, Shion-chan? I mean, in the legend of this village? Toмотake-san raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano-san's hobby wasn't exactly normal. On the surface, her research dealt with the cultural history of ancient Hinamazawa, but its main focus was the Watanagashi festival from ancient times. The cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that and other legends of Kolchi. It was nothing if not gory. That was where her main interest lay. So I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then that I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Watanagashi festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, the part of the dance where the shrine maiden tears open a futon mat represents gutting a living victim. It's starting. I should head over. Aren't you guys coming to see Rika-chama's performance? Toмотake-san looked bewildered. That mean he wasn't coming? Takano-san giggled, then whispered in my ear. To tell you the truth, we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual storehouse. Eh? She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is sort of a treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. I'd heard that Oishiro-sama's secret treasures were stored in there. Is this the one that goes with the choir? Only people from the Furude family and selected members of the other two families are allowed to enter. Other two... Yeah, there it is. Okay. Of the other two, 3 families are allowed to enter. They believe that if other people enter, the place will be desecrated. Everybody in Yamazawa must have been curious about what was in there when they were kids. But the storehouse was always tightly locked. You couldn't just peek into it either. Kids would get chided if they played around it, so they learned to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. Are they still going to enter that ritual storehouse despite all that? Pretty sure it's tightly locked. It was, until last year. Rika-chan had the heavy bolt changed to a cheap padlock, because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift. Did you know that? No. But even if it's cheap, it's still locked, isn't it? Jiro-san is very skilled. Oh, are you? Good at lockpicking? Once the Watanagashi ritual starts, everybody will gather around the stage, right? Then the area around the storehouse will be completely devoid of people. Tonight, this place will be a blind spot. Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. According to her hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture would be found at the ritual storehouse. Why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. Hehehehe. So maybe I'll see you then? Takano-san, what are you telling her? Just girl talk. Let's go to some dark place for a quick date. Hehehe. Huh? Takano-san walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Toмотake-san. The ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Satoshi-kun fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. His aunt's death was the sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun was the sacrifice to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. That was what Takano-san said last year. It was just her hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny her hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Satoshi-kun was still alive. If her hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive the ancient custom of Onigafuchi. That would mean that it was them who killed Satoshi-kun. So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Maybe it was filled with broken palanquins or freshly painted signboards for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi-kun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi-kun would come back. What should I do? Satoshi-kun? Since most people went to see Rika-chan's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, I couldn't sense Satoshi-kun. Did he go somewhere? Or was I not paying enough attention? Or maybe he wasn't feeling my emotions in particular, any emotions in particular. After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I'd been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi. He was jumping up and down trying to see Rika-chan's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, we could split the guilt. Or Shio-sama might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. I wanted a partner in crime. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Jeez. Whoa, what am I thinking? That must have been the demon inside me. I shook the thought out of my head. What's going on, Shion? Where's the best place to see Rika-chan's dance from? Is it far? Huh? Never said I was going to show you that. We made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake-san picking the lock. Well, but before they were spying on them, right? Or I guess it was already planned that way. She was just acting sneaky just to pretend. Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in. Wait, Tomitake went in? It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us. It's so dark in here. Take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. Okay, so he still watches. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san closed the door with a smile as if leaving Tomitake-san out on purpose. Man. Alright, everyone, have fun. As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could rely on was Takano-san's lantern. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. Won't go out or anything. Takano-san teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi, in turn, looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa. Let's go in. Here we go. There. After Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years and the smell of a fish market mixed together. Didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. Gross. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. Wow. At the far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, or Shiro-sama. I looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornaments. Satoshi-kun's disappearance really was a curse. Couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Oshiro-sama. You really made Satoshi-kun disappear. I'll never forgive you. Never. Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. I thought he was scared when he went in. Also, hold on. Alright, we're back. Takano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbooks to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamizawa. I'd heard that story already, so I decided to walk around by myself. Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out to me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as if they were craving for fresh blood after not having been used in hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki main house. If those tools were the progenies of torture implements, these would be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old. I doubted they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house. So did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. They told me that cruel rituals were indeed performed in this village at one point. Now that I found scary. What Takano-san told me was the truth. When I stopped, Satoshi-kun also stopped behind me, one step later. I felt no emotional change in Satoshi-kun. I couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. I knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him, who demoned you away? Are you listening, Satoshi-kun? Did she say that last time? I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left, as if he didn't hear anything. I could tell they'd been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized then that there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar. An altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. It looked out of place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean that this storehouse is maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin, buried in dust. So the brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Hinamizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Orishio-san's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. As Takano-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I'd accused Orishio-sama of demoning away Satoshi-kun, but Orishio-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is the result of human action. It shouldn't be called Orishio-sama's curse. If Satoshi-kun was the fourth year's victim, then he was victimized by a human being who just was acting the part of a curse. The person who demoned away Satoshi-kun must not be very far from me. The truth behind Satoshi-kun's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. Thump. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takano-san and Keiichi. Takano-san was still lecturing him. Did she drop her scrapbook or something? Thump, thump, thump. Jesus. The sound came from right behind me, not from them. I never heard Satoshi-kun do that. It sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? Thump, thump, thump. The sound continued, ignoring my question. Though I heard it right nearby, it sounded as though a child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere distant. What's wrong, Satoshi-kun? Are you angry about something? I couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Was he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe we weren't supposed to do that. Thump, thump, thump. It's not that I've been able to communicate with Satoshi-kun in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. Didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. I felt as if all my pores were opening. I've been thinking that it was Satoshi-kun stomping on the floor. Hey, you. You're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or a no, just silence. Satoshi-kun wouldn't scare me like that. I realized suddenly that the sound hadn't come from Satoshi-kun. A cold shiver shot through my feet, and I sprung a step backward. The sound had come from right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still just a few meters away. Satoshi-kun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked. But if that wasn't Satoshi-kun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear its footsteps. So, that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes. I just wouldn't see it. I forgot everything and ran, straining my ears as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran right into Keiichi and clung to him, timidly, turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar is quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling dark stillness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now. What's up, Shion? Did you get scared? Keiichi made fun of me. Even though he looked horrified just a little while ago, he now looked satisfied to see me scared too. Haha, I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted houses. Well, I don't mind it. Anyway, let's go, before Takano-san leaves us behind. I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I was able to hide my fear entirely. Smuggered. Footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into the light. The presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stomping sound as if wanting some recognition, but neither Takano-san nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. It was possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it, but Keiichi would never ignore it. If he could hear it, he would have said something. So, just like with Satoshi-kun, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi-kun in a bad mood? Or was it possible that the presence I believed to be Satoshi-kun might not have been him at all? Thump. Oh jeez. Thump. What are you upset about, Satoshi-kun? Tell me if I did something wrong. I'll apologize. Thump. Jesus. Epilepsy warning. Thump. Thump. If you aren't Satoshi-kun, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Thump. 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 Shion, are you alright? Huh? I'm fine. You look pale though. I appreciate if you didn't stretch my clothes too much. Oh, sorry. Oh? Am I interrupting you two? Hee. I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. Didn't hear the sound as much, and became a bit more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? Thump, thump. What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled at me like a witch. Thump, thump. Hey, Barakun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oshiro-san's curse, or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know, the night of Oshiro-san's curse. It certainly is. If the curse strikes for a 5th time, it'll happen tonight. Thump, thump, thump. Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with that one article. It was the article about the brutal murder of a Watanagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji era. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onagafuchi village. Thump, 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 thump. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Thump, thump, thump. Hey, you guys seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? Ah, hell. It's freaking noisy. Cut it out already. And the next moment, we all heard a squeaking noise. It's Tomitake. We turned around in surprise. It was just Tomitake-san opening the door. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san laughed as if making fun of Tomitake-san for being such a scaredy cat. But he opened the door because of the noise, right? I guess because, yeah, it's getting louder and louder. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over, and everyone's going down to the river. The festival as a whole will be over within minutes. Time is up. Never expected that Tomitake-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh. Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I like how he looks so confident and he's fine, but yeah, he's not fine. I went to the entry room and turned around. Kano-san was taking photos in mad rush, though our time was up. Didn't hear that sound anymore. Didn't feel that presence. Didn't feel Satoshi-kun either. But somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. Ah, damn it. I think that's the end of the chapter, but hopefully they do the follow-up, because I want to see her reaction to Tomitake mentioning the thumps. Oh, come on. Damn. Alright, hopefully. Defilers. Why the axe? Also, why is it quiet? 172. That underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So, do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals including Watanagashi have been passed down among the three families even after the Meiji era. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture, so Hinamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. The underground storehouse at the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one too. After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through the generations. I should remain armed with the knowledge that occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. Like, something has to happen this night, right? Because, yeah. Curious. Very curious. The sanctity of the... Well, I mean, besides the murder of Tomitake, right? But anyways. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oyoshi-Osama. Of course, I knew that, since I'm originally from Hinamizawa. But violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research shows that the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that Watanagashi was once a public execution, performed to stabilize the reign of the three families, rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual should hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But keep them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many said they would become tainted if the lame men touched them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual storehouse's sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion rolling over this village. Six pages later. The reason why Takano-san and Tomitaka-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. Oh, so this is after. Shit. Don't tell me that they're gonna skip. Nah, man. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. My disappointment. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. That's because, considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano-san's body was found, she must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or that the plan had been set up a long time ago. But wait, that doesn't track. I don't know. I guess I have to wait until next chapter. Maybe this is like, I don't know. They might have been secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? Alright. Let's do the 5-minute BRB. Official 5-minute BRB. And then we'll continue. So, shit, we need music. Can't just be hearing silence. Oh, I know. Let's see. Whoops. Well, it's on Discord anyways. Music. Alright. Yeah, LBRB. Un momento. we're back. So let's see. Just a little bit like this one, but most of the beginning. Let's see. Oh, I could... Huh. Well, Mega Man Bass came out first. You can definitely tell I'm a Mega Man nerd when I can just find a song like that from hearing one part of a song from a completely unrelated game series. Who knows? Maybe they might have been influenced by that track. Because yeah, Mega Man Bass would have been first for that track. That sounds similar. Oh yeah, did we save? I don't think we saved. Chapter 9. Yeah, we're back. Let's continue. No messages? No messages. I guess we're continuing. I think it's just a coincidence. Probably. What if it's like another Vanilla Ice Queen under pressure incident? My relatives gathered at the Sonozaki house after the festival to have a little party. Damn it! They didn't talk about it. What was her reaction? I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. I mingled with my uncles and had fun. I was trying to get rid of my eerie memories of the ritual storehouse. Right? Dun 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 dun. Mion was acting as the successor, so I tried to stay away from her. I'm sure she would feel weird if I talked to her in a formal way. In consideration of the hag's old age, we ended the party around 11 p.m. We all helped to clean up, with the women washing the dishes in the kitchen, and the men folding the tables and putting them away in the storeroom. It only took about 30 minutes, then everyone left, one after another. By then, Mion was no longer acting as the Sonozaki's successor and was back to being her normal... being her normal self. Being. Maybe I drank too much. I was lying on the tatami floor. Kasai asked me if I could get in the car. So I told him I'd barf if I got in now. Sis, can I spend the night here? I just want to sleep. Granny will get mad if she finds you. By the way, don't you have school tomorrow, Shion? No, tomorrow's our school's anniversary, so there's no class. How many times a year does your school have its anniversary? Oh well. Okay, Kasai-san. She can stay here tonight. Understood. Good night. Come on, Shion. Wake up. Granny will get really mad if you fall asleep here. Here, hold on to me. You can sleep in my room. I was left alone all of a sudden, in this late night. My alter ego told me that I'm in a demon's stomach. I wouldn't have woken up if I hadn't heard that voice. I might not have woken up at all. Page 165. So this is, yeah, right. Makes sense. Because the others were like 173, 175, and then 179, right? I didn't remember much after that. I was probably brought to Mion's room and immediately crawled into the futon. After a while, Mion got her futon ready next to me and turned the lights off and went to sleep. At least that's what I thought. Before I was going to start this chapter, I wanted to talk about this one. Like, I've only had like one spooky experience, but it wasn't like anything like a presence or anything. It was just going into a place that's like dark and yeah. But back at my school, in the theater room, or in the theater, right? I guess the stage, main stage. There's like a little panel that you can go under, and like there's like these tunnels. I guess it's like used for the drama shows and whatnot. But yeah, I think I remember looking down there, and it's just dark. It's just like, no, not for me. I think it was tall enough that you could like crawl, but not that you could like stand up. So I think I remember a ladder. But yeah, definitely nothing like as spooky as like going to a ritual storehouse and seeing all these torture devices, but that's like my only experience. Definitely didn't, like I think after going down there, I don't think I went further, like to check out the other areas and the that were under there. We didn't get caught. This is like during some school event, so we snuck out. We snuck into there, checked it out, and it was okay. But shit, there was something else that happened, but I can't remember. Nothing to do with that. It was like a conversation, but can't recall. But anyways, yeah. But did you ever sneak into the teacher's lounge though? No, actually. I'd been to the teacher's lounge because I had to meet with the teacher to like, hey, I need to ask you about the homework or something. But I never snuck in there. It's very small, if I remember correctly. It's just a small little office. Teacher's just eating. Didn't want to disturb, but you know, it was important. I had an important question. But yeah. Anyways, that was my tangent. After a while, Mion got her futon ready next to me, turned the lights off, and went to sleep. At least that's what I thought. The only reason I was ever allowed in there was because there was a tornado safe zone. I see. That makes sense. Where would we go if there's a tornado? Shit, I can't recall. Was it just the classrooms? Probably. We wouldn't go in the library because that was on the second floor. There's all this glass all over. So that would be bad. The gym, probably not. Probably classrooms, I would think. Probably moved into the lowest big area, like a hallway or something. So maybe the hallway, yeah. It was just one floor, but the library had a second floor to it. Then there's the theater, and then there was the gym. So yeah, I guess the hallway or classrooms. Because the classrooms are kind of... It's like sections. It's like tiers. You got one side, the middle side, and then the top, farther back side. But anyways... After a while, Mion got her futon ready next to me, turned the lights off, went to sleep. At least that's what I thought. It's funny, because I was talking about school with Babby. I can't. Apparently, I've forgotten things that I probably shouldn't have. Anyways, right, exactly. Anyways, moving on. I got up and turned the lights on. Mion's futon was empty. The futon felt cold. Mion must have left it a while ago. Did she go to the bathroom? No, the closest bathroom was right there, down the hallway. The light in the bathroom was off. Where did she go? The ticking of the clock was loud and annoying in this quiet. Hands pointed to a little before 3 a.m. I was left alone all of a sudden, in this late night. I felt the eeriness of the ritual storehouse coming back to me, despite drinking it away with alcohol earlier. I tried to sense my surroundings. In this house, there shouldn't be an eerie atmosphere. Strange noises or footsteps. Wait, doesn't Oryu disappear first? Or no? Because it's Oryu, then Kimiyoshi, then Rika and Satoko. Right? Or maybe it's Mion first. Strange noises or footsteps. Stepped out into the freezing cold hallway to look for Mion. When I did, I immediately noticed light coming from one of the nearby rooms. That room belonged to the hag. The hag went to sleep early and woke up early. She was very strict about her bedtime, so it was strange to see her light on in the middle of the night. I could hear voices too. Those voices belonged to the hag and Mion. I creeped up to the room and listened to their conversation. Since it was the middle of the night, I could hear their words very clearly. But you know, those young ones went too far. You're right. They made Oyoshiro-sama angry, so I guess they got what they deserved. Mion's voice sounded as cold as the one I'd heard down in the torture room. I held my breath. The police say they're investigating, but are you sure? I guess. It's probably Takano-san. My heart almost stopped. Oh jeez. Oyoshiro-sama get angry? The police are investigating? It's probably Takano-san. What day was it today? Those words told me that something was happening. My teeth started to chatter. I desperately tried to stop them. I felt like my body was swelling up suddenly. I could no longer hear as well. Calm down. Breathe. Listen more carefully. According to Mion and the hag's conversation, another incident definitely took place. The victims were Takano-san and Tomitaka-san. From what I could tell, both Mion and the hag thought it made sense that whatever it was happened to them. No. I need to think more calmly. They did say they deserved it for making Orishiro-sama angry. Did they say Takano-san and Tomitaka-san made Orishiro-sama angry? How did they make Orishiro-sama angry? They knew. My body started to shake. They knew we snuck into the ritual storehouse. Then would that mean Keiichi and I were also subject to Orishiro-sama's curse? Oh boy. Suddenly, a phone rang. The phone was by the front door. The front door was opposite the hag's room, farther down the hallway. The ringing echoed throughout the long hallway. It sounded so eerie, almost like it was coming from hell. That was when I felt someone behind me. Of course, there was nobody there when I turned around, but there was someone there a moment ago. Didn't know if it was Satoshi-kun. Didn't sense any emotions, so I couldn't tell. I also didn't know how long it had been there. It was as if that somebody was watching me listen in on the conversation. That was the feeling I got. It couldn't be Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun would never be that intimidating or scary. My mind turned all red, like it was suffused with blood. Have you experienced anything like that? Those footsteps always followed me. They even came to my bedside and looked down at me. I remembered what Ren and Ryugu had said on that rainy day. You'll be okay, if that's true. Orishiro-sama won't get mad at you. If Orishiro-sama wasn't angry, nobody would follow me. So what did this mean? Ever since we snuck into that shrine storage, something has been following me? What is it? Calm down, calm down. That's right, Rena wasn't talking about me. She was talking about Satoshi-kun. That's what happened to Satoshi-kun. Everything he's going through is a sign of Orishiro-sama's curse. That's right, that's why you encounter the curse of Orishiro-sama. You feel someone is watching from a distance, and it follows you. A creepy feeling crawled up and spread across my back. Then it watches from right behind you. After that, you start hearing an extra footstep. I swallowed loudly. It's almost as though Ren Ryugu was predicting what would happen to me. Had Ren been talking about Satoshi-kun back then? Or had she actually been talking about me? But you start hearing it even inside your house after a while. Then, Orishiro-sama keeps watching you, even when you're sleeping in the dark, right by your side, waiting silently. I knew by now that there was no mistake. No matter how I looked at it, she had been talking about me. Yes, me. It had been about me. The curse of Orishiro-sama. What is the curse of Orishiro-sama? That was when I actually felt something for real. Oh jeez. Someone grabbed my collar. Ah! No voice came out. I wanted to scream, but all I could do was open and close my mouth as if something was stuck in my throat. It was Mion. Oh jeez. She looked even colder than how she looked in the underground torture room. It only made sense that she'd come out into the hallway to answer the phone. I tried to come up with an excuse. However, the way Mion looked at me was so cold. Even if I really had run into her by accident, I could tell by the look in her eyes that she wouldn't believe me. Right, never mind. So that's not right. She doesn't look like that. Because she's paranoid right now. I felt cold sweat all over my body. So still, Mion, best girl. Couldn't even move my fingers. Sorry. I apologized. I could have said something to get myself out of the situation, but the apology came out first. But Mion didn't appear to hear me. She walked to the front door, still holding my collar. The phone was still ringing. A normal person doesn't usually let a phone ring so long at this time of night. The phone call itself didn't seem real to me. Mion picked up the phone. This is Mion. I see. I understand. Please take care of things at your end. Also, please make sure that nobody talks about this. Yes. Goodbye. Mion put down the phone after a short conversation. What does she mean? Make sure nobody talks about this. Who called? Anyway. Mion put her forehead to mine and spoke to me. Oh, jeez. Did you hear? Which conversation was she asking me about? Well, she had to be talking about the one with the hag. I said yes, what would happen to me? I don't... I don't know. What are you talking about? Ah. Mion pulled my collar, pressed her nose on mine, and continued to speak. Just what you heard. The curse of Oishio-sama fell upon Tomitaki-san and Takano-san. It's really very unfortunate. It was like I was talking to myself in a mirror. But without saying in the mirror was ever so cold. Sis. What is the curse of Oishio-sama? Oh, jeez. Tomitaki-san killed himself by clawing out his throat. Takano-san was burned to death in an oil drum. Terrible, isn't it? Tomitaki-san clawed at his own throat until he died? What? Takano-san was burned to death in an oil drum? What? What? I felt something furry crawl up my spine. I also felt like my stomach was turning upside down. I didn't feel any strength in my legs. If Mion let go of my collar, I'd probably collapse on the spot. Why did they die that way? Don't you know, Shion? I'm asking you because I don't know. I don't know. Don't you see there can only be one reason? Please don't talk as if I already know the answer. What do you mean? My heart was pounding. I felt that my next breath would be so bloody and hot that I'd choke on it. Don't you know? It's because they made Oishiro-sama angry. The first year, it was the manager of the damn construction site. The second year, it was the traitors to the village. The third year, it was the pacifists. The fourth year, it was the relatives of the traitors. I'd always thought the victims were people who had something to do with the dam conflict. Since I didn't do anything against the village during the dam conflict, I assumed I was safe. Should have known. I should have known everything would be the curse of Oishiro-sama. I knew Oishiro-sama's anger was the curse of Oishiro-sama. I knew Oishiro-sama would get angry if I snuck into the ritual storehouse. But since I wasn't held responsible in any way for the dam conflict, I never thought I'd be a victim of the curse. Did I ever think there would be an incident in the 5th year? Did I ever think that I'd be the victim of that 5th year incident? Sorry. Tomitaki-san snuck into the storehouse, and he clawed at his own throat until he died. Takano-san was burned to death in an oil drum. Must be a lie. Couldn't be true. Even if it was forbidden, it was just a space for storing some old torture implements. How could they be killed for just sneaking in there? Especially in such gruesome ways. But I thought about it again and realized that those people were absolutely capable of doing things like that. The main Sonozaki family was capable of it. The Sonozaki family had been pulling the strings behind a series of mysterious deaths. They could do it. The Sonozaki family even kidnapped the grandson of the Minister of Construction during the dam conflict. They could do it. The Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear completely. They could do it. This track. Mion leaned against me before falling into the cold hallway floor. She collapsed rather violently. I usually didn't go to sleep with my stun gun, but since I was too drunk to get ready for bed, I still had it on me. So this is when it happens. I had my stun gun on me. I finally understood. Didn't know who killed them exactly, whose idea it was or who ordered it. Didn't even know who was actually involved. But Mion and the hag knew everything. Satoshi-kun. Now I finally know. Now I know what to do. What I need to do. I will settle the score for you, Satoshi-kun. I will avenge you, Satoshi-kun. I won't be killed like you, Satoshi-kun. I walked into the hag's room. She was sitting up to take some medicine. Her back was turned to me. Mion and I are twins. If I acted like her, the hag wouldn't notice the difference. I didn't think she ever suspected me. I put my stun gun to her neck and pulled the trigger. Ah, jeez. I heard an indescribable electrical sound, and the hag's lights went out. She fell in a twisted position. Didn't know how long it would take a person to regain their freedom of movement after getting knocked out with a stun gun. so I had to restrain them before they woke back up. I was unbelievably calm. The key to the underground torture room was in the forbidden drawer that only the head of the family can access. Mion had told me about this once. I'd never looked for the drawer before, but I found it exactly where I thought it would be. The key was on a keychain with several of its sisters. Each key had a little plaque on it that said what it was used for. They were all in Mion's handwriting. She was an idiot for being so conscientious, but it sure helped me out. I put the keychain in my pocket and headed to the outdoor storeroom to find a cart. I found a large flashlight there as well. There was a strap on the flashlight so I could put it on my shoulder. That way, I'd have both hands free to carry Mion and the hag. Just must be very strong. I loaded Mion and then our grandmother onto the cart and carried them to the underground torture room. I was prepared to use the stun gun again if they woke up while I was working. Also, I'm doing a slight iffy lurk. Time to do the rounds. Sounds good, Gus. Appreciate the lurk. Have fun. I was prepared to use the stun gun again if they woke up while I was working, but it was more powerful than I imagined, and the hag showed no signs of waking. I would imagine she's already dead, right? This is the stun gun Kasai especially ordered for me when I told him I wanted a powerful one. And I'm DJing for a stream? Oh wow. Well, hope it goes alright. Hope the people enjoy the music. So what's going on with the track right now? I remembered him telling him... That's so... I don't remember that part of the track. I remembered him telling me that it was an illegally modified stun gun, and that I should never use it just for fun. I used my flashlight to find the light switch. I found it easily, and turned it on. All the lights went on in the basement. Although there was now illumination, it was very dim. I moved quickly so as to finish what I needed to do before they woke up. I decided to put Mion in a cell beyond the torture room. Loading in some SNES remix songs by indie artists. Nice. Throw in some Amamanaguchi? Is that how you pronounce it? Amamanaguchi. I'm sure they'll like that. The lights in the torture room were so bright that it was like daylight. There was a door there. I was fairly certain the cells were on the other side of that door. The proper key was here. The keys made a tinkling sound. I felt cold air coming in through the gap in the door. There must be a huge opening on the other side. Jeez. I opened the door, and I saw nothing but darkness. I felt along the wall to find a light switch. I turned the switch on, and the light bulbs lit up, revealing a huge rocky cave. It didn't look like a natural cave, it looked more like an air raid shelter. There were several hollow openings with bars across them. Those were the cells. I walked up to the closest cell, checked to see if it was strong enough to confine her. I pushed and pulled on the bars. I rammed against them with all my weight, and decided they were perfectly sturdy. This was secure enough to be called a cell. I opened the lock and carried Mion in. I wasn't particularly strong, just average. I never thought I was strong enough to carry a whole person. But now I didn't need to pretend to be weak. I could easily lift and drag their bodies. I put Mion in the cell. She seemed to moan a little. Didn't need to check to make sure. The effect of my stun gun was wearing off. I closed the bars and turned the key in the lock. Then I ran to the hag, who must have been starting to wake up too. Fortunately, there was no sign of her regaining consciousness. Maybe the difference in age had something to do with it. I looked for a table to restrain her on. I found a wheelchair with restraints for the hands and feet. I put the hag in it. Of course she didn't resist, but her dead weight made it seem like she was a huge French doll, but one made of flesh. I put her hands on the armrests and restrained them at the wrists with the metal rings and hinges. I did the same with her feet. This must have been a wheelchair specifically, specially remodeled to restrain a person. Other than the restraints, it was a regular wheelchair. I waited for the hag to wake up. I had so many things I wanted to ask her. Didn't think she'd answer honestly, but I had plenty of tools to make her talk. I was in no rush. When the hag had a concern, she relatives took care of the problem. That was how it worked in the Sonozaki family. She was the leader of the family, so all the information they gathered would make its way to her. She must know everything that happened in Hinamizawa, including the curse of Oishiro-sama. I heard a noise from the cell. Mion must have woken up before the hag did. Speaking of the hag, she didn't seem like she was about to wake up anytime soon, but she was restrained even if she did, so I had no need to fear. I have a feeling the hag's dead. Well, I guess she would have brought up the breathing. I left the hag there and headed for the cell. Shion, what do you think you're doing? She talked like the successor, but she also sounded frightened. She obviously understood the situation she was in right now. Good morning, Neon. You never thought you'd be in there, huh? As the acting head, I order you, open this up. You don't sound so scary in there. You need to talk more like a leader, don't you think? Though, talking that way will only make you look like a fool. There was nothing funny about it, but I wanted to intimidate Neon. My laughter echoed throughout the cave. It was artificial and meaningless laughter. I heard it over and over as it echoed. It sounded as if I wasn't the only one laughing. I couldn't stand it, so I stopped. Silence filled the air. That silence almost hurt my ears, so I started to speak. I never thought Tomitake-san and Takano-san would be the victims. What an idea to burn Takano-san to death. But actually, she would be the kind of person who would prefer to die that way. Maybe she's satisfied, huh? Hee. Mion didn't say anything. She just stared at me to see how I'd proceed. What about the way Tomitake-san died? He clawed out his own throat, right? Did you give him a shot of some kind? Or is there a torture device that did that to him? Mion didn't reply. I was smiling boldly, but I became impatient and finally kicked the bars. It made a violent noise. Mion jumped as if she was kicked directly. It's boring not to get any answers. Do you have any idea what will happen if I get angry? How would I know? Mion finally replied. She was odious, but at the same time sounded pitiful. Hey, Mion. As a successor, why don't you tell me? Let's see. I had just too many things I want to ask her. I want to ask her about me, about the incident, about the curse, about Satoshi-kun. Didn't even know where to start. Before I asked her about those, I asked her one other thing. You know there's no point in trying to resist, don't you? Mion glared at me silently. Because we were twins, I knew that was just a bluff. We've come this far, so there's no point in me hesitating anymore. You shouldn't expect hesitation or even mercy from me, sis. Mion must have been feeling the cold sweat in her face. Although the light was dim, I could tell she was frightened. Okay, here I go. First, about the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as the Curse of Oishiro-sama. What's the meaning of it? Is it to signify the end of the dam conflict? I think so. Mion sounded a little confused, but she answered. Felt satisfaction now that we were communicating. I continued with a smile. You think, huh? Don't you know the details? You know yourself that the successor is simply a messenger for Granny. Yeah, right. But the successor must know everything the current head is thinking, right? Do you really think I believe you're just a messenger? Although I'm always around Granny, I don't always know what she's thinking. It's not like I can understand her all the time. Okay, so you're saying that everything about the curse of Oishiro-sama is decided by the hag herself, right? I assume she'd talk to the successor about it. If it's something dangerous, Granny decides it on her own. I don't have anything to do with it. But even if she decides by herself, the hag uses you to take care of various things, doesn't she? And you're telling me you don't know anything? No, she doesn't use me for that. I really don't understand it myself. But it's like I take care of problems on the surface and someone else takes care of problems on the underside. Who? Who is the one that takes care of these underside problems? I don't know. Haven't you seen anyone? Haven't you overheard a phone conversation? Must be someone who gets in touch with the hag at the same time every year, around the time the curse happens. I don't know. I really don't. Mion shook her head. So, then she gets the idea about Kimiyoshi. Okay, let me change the question. Why were Tomitake-san and Takano-san chosen as victims, even though they had nothing to do with the dam conflict? Was it because they snuck into the ritual storehouse? As soon as Mion heard the words ritual storehouse, her expression shifted. The ritual storehouse? Did they intrude on the storehouse at the Furude Shrine? Didn't you know? Thought you already knew. If they really did that, then it was truly stupid of them. Of course something would happen to them. Mion muttered bitterly while shaking her head repeatedly. Mion's reaction made me realize the true meaning of the forbidden storehouse for ritual implements. The ritual storehouse is a sacred building, so nobody can go inside. The curse will fall upon any who would disobey. Any child would know that rule. However, just because they knew about it didn't mean that they all believed in it. Although they were told they would be cursed, most of the kids actually enjoyed hearing the stories. They simply didn't believe it was true. However, Mion's reaction told me it absolutely was. If they actually did that, of course something would happen to them. She was saying that if someone snuck into the ritual storehouse, that person should be killed. What you know and what I know aren't matching up anymore. Of course I'm aware I shouldn't just waltz into the storehouse, but to be killed in such a gruesome way for doing it? Never knew that, did you? Did you? That's just because you're ignorant about it, Shion. Well, sorry for being ignorant. Could you please explain it to me? Just like you said, the kids don't really believe in the curse. They assume it's just superstition, but they also know that if an adult found out, they'd be in big trouble. But to the elderly people of Hinamizawa, it's something more serious. Mion explained to me how the elderly people blindly believe in Oyoshiro-sama, and how sacred the festivals are to them. It's probably something the younger generations would never understand, but they're possessed by a very strong, deeply rooted devotion toward Oyoshiro-sama. Mion then went on to tell me about how sinful it was to violate the rule of the ritual storehouse. I just couldn't believe things like that were still going on, even in the modern day. I couldn't even reply appropriately. But even if it was unbelievable, I couldn't ignore what I was hearing from my twin sister. I see. But Mion, doesn't the rule say that one victim gets killed by the curse and another one has to become a sacrifice? The body of the sacrifice is never to be found, but there are 2 dead bodies this time. What do you think of that? Mion doesn't know that besides Takano-san and Tomitake-san, Keiichi and I also snuck into the ritual storehouse. So I tried to lead her a little. I know. That doesn't make sense. Maybe Takano-san's burned body wasn't supposed to be found. Maybe the intention was for her to vanish. Or... not too sure, but... What? Just say what you're thinking. I won't get mad. Mion hesitated a little first, and then started to speak. Actually, 4 people snuck into the shrine storage, so maybe. So she didn't know. Maybe what? Maybe the other 2 would become the sacrifices and get demoned away. Can't hide. Man. They got eyes everywhere. Mion's words were stuck in my head. Those 2 dead bodies were the result of the curse, and there should be 2 sacrifices to calm Oyoshiro-sama's anger. The 4 of us snuck into the shrine storage together. It was a simple equation. Did that mean that Keiichi and I were in danger? I got drunk, fell asleep, and decided to stay overnight. Is that because of the alcohol? Or did someone put a drug in my drink? It's not like me to get drunk and spend a night at the hag's house. I wanted to forget about what happened in that eerie storehouse, so I drank too much. But it really was strange for me to get that drunk. Maybe. It was a good thing I woke up in the middle of the night. I could have been the one to wake up in a cell. Sometimes it's hard to recognize danger when you avoid it accidentally. Part of me wanted to just laugh at the idea, but another part felt frightened that I was so close to being in Mion's position. If my thinking was correct, I wonder how Keiichi Mibara was doing right now. Excuse me. I didn't see him in any of the cells, but that didn't guarantee his safety. It was just an abrupt, random burp. Takano-san and Tomitake-san had been executed. There was a possibility that Keiichi could already be dead, but just like what happened to Satoshi-kun, it might only happen after a few days. When the sun rose, I was going to pretend to be Mion and head to her school. I was going to check if Keiichi Maibara was safe. If he had already disappeared, the enemy would come after me next. I'd have to be a decoy for myself. But if he was still safe, I need to keep my eyes on him. I was sure the enemy would come after that scatterbrain. If I became Shion would disappear. The enemy would think Shion had already been demoned away, and they'd concentrate on Keiichi. If nothing happened to Keiichi, that would also be fine. It'd prove that nothing would happen to me either. So, right, yeah, because they realized after the ritual, after Watanagashi, that she disappeared, right? So then, I'm just trying to get an idea of what's going through her mind. Well, I guess we'll find out when we get there. Because then she's going to realize she wasn't. There's no she's not the sacrifice. There's no sacrifice. The hag was still sleeping in the wheelchair. I was going to interrogate her, but actually I wasn't expecting to learn that much. The woman, who was also known as Empress Sonozaki, probably wouldn't say a thing, even if her fingers were cut off. Mion, her successor, was the complete opposite. Is my stream, like, way behind? Looks like it. Mion, her successor, was the complete opposite. She spoke readily, but didn't know too much about anything. Yo, retextured Terraria looks dope. Yeah, it does. Hold on. Okay. Mion had said she was only a messenger, and that someone else was taking care of problems on the underside. Okay. Mion had said she was holding a messenger. It's possible Mion had grown to be a good liar, and that she tried to deceive me with a straight face. I thought someone was making a joke about Higurashi being Terraria, then I saw who said it. Oh man. Hey Dirk, how's it going? Listening to an album. Hang on, let me put it on. Tried to deceive me with a straight face. At the same time, I could see the hag not letting Mion get involved in the other side of the village. We have to play Terraria at some point. I mean, eventually, right? Okay. I'm assuming that Effie has the volley muted, so that's why. But then again, she heard the thunder during the that one chapter. Also, Dirk crap. If I were her, I wouldn't have used Mion for that either. Hell, really? Wouldn't have used Mion for that either. Unlike me, Mion was a nice person. While there were only ones and zeros in the world, she believed there were numbers with decimal points. In other words, she could never be cruel. Yesterday I fucked up so hard by telling someone I'll do my best to keep you company. But instead of company I typed coming. Oh, it's fucking awkward. Oh boy. The hag thought the same way as I do. It was very possible. Then I remember that it's gonna be stuck in your VOD. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. The hag thought the same way as I do. It was very possible. Because I said it. Oh no. Confusion. Shit, I didn't mean to skip. Okay, let's go back. The one who took care of problems on the other side, X, was the one who actually governed the curse of Oshiro-sama. Need to go back. No, that's fine. Hold on. Alright. It's also weird that this track now loops. I don't think it did that before. Mion said she was only a messenger that someone else is taking care of problems on the other side. It's possible Mion had grown to be a good liar. Wouldn't have used Mion for that either. Mion was a nice person. Numbers with decimal points. In other words, she could never be cruel. The one who took care of problems on the other side, X, was the one who actually governed the curse of Oshiro-sama. If the head became concerned about something, X would deal with it, either directly or indirectly. Or maybe the hag and X would discuss the details first. But did X really exist? If he did, his place in the village hierarchy was a lot more important than that of his successor. Okay, so she comes to the conclusion that it's Kimiyoshi, but she doesn't actually get an answer. Unlike Mion, who was too nice, he was discreet, cruel, and cunning. Furthermore, he was extremely close to the hag. Someone who would have a lot of contact with her just before it was time for the curse. Because of the way Tomitake-san died, it could be someone who regularly dealt with unusual drugs. It could be a member of a medical institution. The director of the EDA clinic? EDA? In this isolated village, EDA was famous for opening such a beautiful clinic, and for working so hard for the villagers' sake. The villagers liked his mature personality, and really respected him. There's nothing scarier than a doctor who's also a murderer. If EDA was the person behind the curse, all the mysterious deaths could be explained. However, there was only a slim chance of EDA being X. The main reason being that the hag wouldn't trust him. Like many of the elderly, the hag doesn't like young people. I knew she'd never trust him because of his age. Yo, I say alert, but there's a pink tree. Furthermore, she had only openly criticized his behavior among the relatives once. Although EDA was famous, he was an outsider after all. Yeah, there's a pink tree, and I think it's on journey mode, right? Or maybe it was just... she cut it down. Was it all Journey Worlds that have the pink tree? No, right? Maybe it's just coincidence. Although EDA was famous, he was an outsider after all. He wasn't born here. Did I miss anything? Furthermore, one of the relatives. He wasn't born here. I tried to maintain a good relationship with the villagers as the director of the clinic, but that was just on the surface. Couldn't even imagine the hag telling him about her worries, or about the village's underside. If she was as suspicious of others as I was, then she'd only gather trustworthy people to deal with that underside. The first people that came to my mind were the leaders of the three families. Leaving Rika-chan out, the head of the Kimiyoshi family was a strong possibility. He was the only one who could advise Empress Sonozaki. They were of a similar age, and everyone knew that they were very close outside the family councils. Furthermore, as the mayor, he often went to the Sonozaki house just before Watanagashi to discuss festival preparations. I could easily picture them talking privately. Hello? Hey Ham, how's it going? The one who executed the curse of Oishiro-sama. The one who murdered Takano-san and Tomonzaki-san. The mastermind behind the series of mysterious deaths that had been going for the past 5 years. Was he coming after me? Did he get to Satoshi-kun? When I thought about Satoshi-kun, I felt elevated. I was fearful of possibly being this year's victim until just a moment ago. I was scared that X was after me. Bad? Why are you bad? Or what's going on? When I thought about it, I realized, whoever it was, this person had gotten Satoshi-kun. I'd looked so hard, but I couldn't find him. I'd almost forgotten about this enemy. For better or for worse, he was gonna appear before me again. Oh shit, you're almost on your 143-day streak. No, I think we're at 143, right? I believe we just hit it. Technically, today would be the 144, but since we started streaming yesterday, that should count for 143. Do I ask for advices here? Yeah, go for it. I'll try to help as best I can. I almost forgotten about this enemy. For better or for worse, he was going to appear before me again. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find that enemy. But now, he was trying to find me. Wait, never mind. That was it. I wasn't only being chased, I was chasing too. When I realized all this, I was no longer afraid of dying to the 5th year's curse. It had become a game. Oh my god, there's noises. I think it might be the wrong place. Oh, okay. Well, if you ever feel the need, you can always ask. I wasn't only being threatened, I was threatening too. Now was the time to settle the score for Satoshi-kun. Now was the time to awaken passions that had grown weak over the past year. Every time I Wonderwall. Terraria. I could feel righteous indignation and courage flare up within me. The only emotion that can defeat fear is anger. When my anger completely overtook my fear, I felt as if I were reborn. Oster's wrath. Why don't you wake up, Empress of Hags? I kicked her wheelchair rather violently, but that didn't wake her up either. Or were you just pretending to be asleep? I grabbed her hair and pulled her head up, but even then, the hag still stayed silent with a straight face. Then I noticed something. I looked for an appropriate torture device. They were all large scale, rather than being particularly handy. That's why I saw a cigarette lighter on a cushion in the tatami room. One of the relatives must have left it there. I lit the lighter. A huge flame appeared. I turned the lighter off and went back to the hag with it. Can you see it? Can't you see it? This is a cigarette lighter somebody left behind. I lit it in front of her eyes. Gonna burn your nose now. You don't want that, do you? I wouldn't want it. So why don't you quit pretending to be asleep? There was still no response. I mean, did she check her rating? Put the flame right under her nose without hesitation. I mean, stun gun at that age? Tip of the flame touched the tip of her nose. The flame must have burned her nose hair. It smelled terrible. I was already certain, but I continued anyway. I brought the flame closer to her eye. Her eyelid didn't move one bit. I want JP shifts there. I must unlock. It's there. I don't know why I muted. Well, yeah, I should have muted. We're fine. Brought the flame closer to her eye. Her eyelid didn't move one bit. The flame burned her eyelashes, making it smell awful again. Turned the lighter off and then felt her throat and wrist. Didn't feel any warmth. Didn't feel pulse either. Did she? Die from the stun gun? There was no way she could pretend to be asleep while being burned, even if she could endure the pain. Anyone would reflexively move their eyelids if a flame came close to their eyes. But she didn't. Is Effie lost in Terraria? I guess so. I think so. Turn the sink water on, aimed at the end of a hose at the hag's face. The water pressure wasn't too high, but by squeezing the tip of the hose, I could make it squirt out. That's always fun to do. The water hit the hag in the face, but there was still no reaction. Me? Shit. You gotta be kidding me. She's dead. The one who was at the center of everything is dead now. I knew she wouldn't talk, but I didn't expect her to end up dead. Never even thought of killing her. The other one is on BTTV. They're both on BTTV. I walked around the room restlessly. Didn't feel guilty, but instead felt frustrated with what I'd done. Come on. Need to calm down. Hold on. I was gonna post all the emotes, but it's fine. They're all available. I think we did that like last week or something. Come on, you need to calm down. What do I need to be afraid of? Calm down and stay cool. Calm down, stay cool. I could feel my brain starting to calm down. My emotions cooling down with it. BTTV. She was my true enemy. It was just that I killed her before confronting her about it. Sooner or later, I would have killed her anyway. She wouldn't have said anything in the first place, so there wasn't really a reason why I should have let her live. Gee, nah. It's just the same code. Didn't realize that until now. That was why I got frustrated. Okay, I tried BRB link. The BRB link? My revenge for Satoshi-kun started with the unexpected death of my grandmother. Such a strange feeling, like I was wearing sopping wet clothes. I replaced that feeling with anger. I couldn't forgive her. I couldn't forgive the hag for abusing the Hojo family, including Satoshi-kun, for so many years. She cornered him psychologically, as well as physically. She didn't deserve an easy death from a stun gun. I picked up a whip that was hanging on the wall. The whip was designed to make sure the person on the receiving end got seriously injured. I swung it up and then down. The sound reminded me of when I was a child hitting things with a jump rope. I pretended was a whip. Oh well, whip, right? But unlike then, I'd made a purple mark on the hag's face, and reddish-black blood started oozing out. Gross. This is wild, yeah. First death, Pog. I swung it up and then down again. This time the whip hits her in the head. Her hair flew in the air. Jesus. I saw a bunch of her hair on the tip of the whip. At the end of the bunch of hair, there was a piece of her skin. It seemed the whip had ripped part of her scalp off. I continued to hit her with the whip. I didn't bother removing the hair beforehand. The tip of the whip was divided into many points, with each point having a fish hook on the end. Those hooks, added to the speed of the whip, not only scratched the victim, but tore their skin as well. The hag's hair was all messed up and her face was getting bloody. She started to look like a real demon. I stopped the whipping, not because my arm was tired, but because I couldn't stand the feeling of her hair on the tip touching me every time I swung the whip. I threw the whip at the hag. Breathing heavily, I realized I was covered in her hair. It almost felt like thousands of maggots crawling over me. I brushed it off violently. Ha, ha, ha. You deserve this, you fucking demon hag. I put my hands on my knees and exhaled roughly. Lurk, BRB? Sounds good, Hab. Thanks for the lurk. It was then that I noticed it. I perked up and turned around. There it is. The person who had been watching me since I snuck into the shrine storage. I sensed this person sitting in the tatami room. It enjoyed watching me torture my grandmother. An overwhelming emotion started to swallow me up. I tried desperately not to feel it. How long have you been there? I should have said something. It was just there. Just like Satoshi-kun, it was just there. It was extremely uncomfortable to have it just be there. I see. Rena told me. Are you? Oishiro-sama? I smiled boldly. And yet, I could feel my body shivering. You can't fool me. Are you saying that you're Oishiro-sama? And that the curse of Oishiro-sama really does exist? Come on. Who would believe something like that? Huh? It was just my imagination. It couldn't be the curse of Oishiro-sama. The curse couldn't be real. Everything was done by humans. They made everything look like it was a curse. Well, I don't care if you saw what I did. I won't charge you for it. But if you're thinking about interfering, I won't hold back, you know? No matter what I said, nothing happened. Oh, right, I have to change some beats of TV settings. Whoops. It was like trying to communicate with the next insect. I felt like I was staring at a spider in the middle of its web, and the spider was staring back. So apparently my god has 500 IQ, opening doors at night. I turned to the hag in the wheelchair. I couldn't leave her body here forever. If I don't need to make her death known, then it should be quick. It's best if the body doesn't exist. Not even in the secret underground torture room. So then she throws in the well. Phew. I excelled to try to calm myself down. Oh, I remember now. When I was a little girl, Kasai used to love making me feel scared. He often told me scary stories about various horrible things. I recalled his story about the secret torture room of the Sonozaki family. According to the story, there was a well in the torture room for dumping bodies in. There was a pile of tortured corpses at the bottom of the well, and resentful moans could be heard echoing from there. And about halfway down the well, there was a different tunnel, which was a secret passage leading to the distant mountains. Wow. That bit was from Mion's telling of the story. It's probably an amalgamation of tellings from different relatives. The room was supposed to be a huge secret, but everyone got loose lips at the chance to have fun scaring the young successor. Mion, do you remember one of our relatives talking about a hidden well a long time ago? It's supposed to be a hidden well somewhere in this underground torture room, and it's connected to a secret passage. Did you hear some noise earlier? That was me whipping the hag. Mion didn't reply, but I saw her bite her lip. Don't worry, I won't whip you. But if you don't cooperate, I might punish her some more. Next time I won't use a whip. Down at the end, do you see a cell in the darkness? It's in there. Mion pointed weakly. I walked down to where her finger indicated. A light bulb lit up the cell. It was a lot smaller than the one Mion was in. It's very shallow, and I didn't even need to open the door to see how tiny it was. Of course, there's no well in there. I became angry, assuming that she lied to me, but after considering it, I didn't actually think she would at this point. Chikayo. Hey Gus, how's the DJing going? I opened the door and walked in. I noticed something immediately. There was an opening right in the middle of the cell. This opening was naturally disguised. The way the rocks and the shadows were positioned perfectly hid the well. The tip of a rock inside of the cell concealed the entrance. Unless you went in, you'd never notice. But it was such a shallow cell that nobody would even think of going in. Besides, the bars allow you to see the inside well enough. The cell is not even a few meters deep, so it would only take a glance to see everything. Nobody would think of unlocking the door and walking in. But walking in was the only way anyone could find the well. Playing some music from Conker's Bad Fur Day? Nice. Are you playing the Great Mighty Pooh theme song? Or theme? Furthermore, there were many cells in this huge cave. I can't remember other things. That was like the one big one. I think that one of them was hiding a secret well. The inside of the well was dark. I couldn't see anything. But every little noise I made produced echoes. I could tell this was a very deep well. The techno song from the club part? The club. I can't recall. I brought a flashlight from the torture room and shone it down the well. It almost looked more like a vertical tunnel. Obviously a man made one at that. There were wedges in the wall, like a ladder, and it looked as if they were inviting me to descend. It's kind of ironic that the secret escape route from the underground torture room ended up being a well that takes you even further down. You had no way of knowing whether it would take you to freedom or to hell. Furthermore, there were the tortured bodies of past victims at the bottom. Who would be able to go down this well without hesitation? Nobody in their right mind could go down this well to look for a secret tunnel, hearing the voices of the dead all the while. This one? Let's see. It sounds familiar. Just skip it around. The middle of the song is the main part. Gotcha. I'll have to listen to it after the stream in full. Man, it's been so long since I played that. Have you ever gone down that well, Neon? Never even wanted to. I feel the same way. Why would I go down the well where they tossed the victims of this torture room? Went back to the torture room and then returned to the cave, pushing the wheelchair containing the hag. Neon screamed. Shion, are you gonna push Granny down the well? No, I'm not. I'm just dumping her body. She's dead. Rest assured, I didn't torture her to death. It was probably the stun gun. Maybe her heart failed. I could just leave her body here, but I don't want it to rot, you know? How could you? Hey, do you want to take care of her even now that she's dead? Maybe you can use chopsticks to pick maggots off her body. Huh? Mion covered her ears and shook her head. Everything I said seemed to bother Mion. Her own life wasn't guaranteed at this point. That everyone knows best. Gotcha. Shion, why did you do this? Let's see. Why do you think? Nobody said anything for a while, but the silence was soon broken. Satoshi? Is this revenge? I don't know if it was really revenge. Since it happened so quickly, I'm sure she died without even feeling a thing. Hey, Neon. Now that I think about it, I did have a reason to kill the hag. Do you know what it was? It wasn't just because she killed Satoshi-kun. It's because she lied. I slapped the hag's head. You said it too. You told me that if I ripped out my nails, she would forgive everyone. That's why I ripped out 3 of my nails. Did what you told me to, right? But she didn't keep her promise. She made Satoshi-kun disappear. Why? What was that for? I continued to slap the hag's head. It's gonna fall off. No, right? Can't. Her blood was all over my hand by then, and it felt gross. I tried to wipe it off on her clothes, but then her hair got on my hand. I ran to the sink in the torture room and washed my hands with a brush. When I was done, I went back to Mion's cell. After Satoshi-kun just disappeared, he came over and told me. He said the relationship between me and Satoshi-kun was forgiven. He also said that the Sonozaki main house had nothing to do with Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Yeah, Lied. 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 My shouts echoed throughout the cave. I was breathing heavily. I felt like I used up all of the air in my lungs. I believe you don't know anything. You aren't even sure if the hag actually trusted you. But I don't know if she forgave Satoshi-kun because of what I did. She wouldn't have told you the truth. The hag didn't keep her promise. She said she'd forgive everyone, but she lied. She didn't forgive. She didn't forgive Satoshi-kun. Liar, 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 liar. Damn it. Damn it. Give me back Satoshi-kun. I want him back. I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him. I kicked the hag's leg repeatedly. Each time I kicked, the wheelchair made a squeaky noise. I ran out of breath and kneeled down. Neon was still covering her ears and was now shaking. There were tears in her eyes. Sorry to scare you. Sorry about that. If you really don't know, I won't torment you. Don't worry. But if you're ever lying to me, well, you have to accept whatever comes your way. You know what I mean? I can't. Can't laugh. I can't fake laugh, you know? Dramatic laugh. Dramatic laughter. Dramatic finish. End of the chapter. Oh boy. Well, you know, murder's coming. 183, 185. Okay. Sting of payback. 1253. I think it's best that we stop here. After reading the tips, of course. Wasn't planning to kill the hag so quickly. But we'll probably be back in like 4 hours, maybe 5. I was gonna kill her anyway, but it was too soon. People would normally assume that the Sonozaki family operates as a hierarchy, but that's not true. It's actually more like a system of government. Several ministries stem from the main family, and each forms a hierarchy of its own. These ministries don't communicate with one another. The people who belong to a given ministry don't know what other ministries are doing. That way, the Sonozaki family's dealings are kept perfectly secret. Of course, the most important people in the family govern several ministries. The most important people in the family govern several ministries. They know, of course, about their own ministries, and they know a little bit about the ministries their relatives run. But none of them know everything. There are ministries that work in the open. There are ministries that work unseen, and there's some smaller ones that Orius runs herself. Mion seems to know about most of them, but she doesn't necessarily know them all. In fact, she didn't know about the curse. Considering that, the fact that the hag died before I could interrogate her is a huge loss. I guess someone finds the note, right? No one finds this. And thus, no one finds out the truth. The head of the Kamiyoshi family was the one who called the main house most often after the 5th year's curse. My father called the second most. My parents were still high in the hierarchy, but the stir caused by my mother's disownment still hung over us, so we got treated as outcasts. So wait, what happened? The head of the Kamiyoshi. Okay. So the fact that my father received so many calls proved how much the hag valued us despite the distance at which we were kept, demonstrating her own two-faced respect for both sides of the coin. My father seems to be in charge of the Intelligence Bureau. He reported police information, gossip, and rumors going around the Yakuza business to the hag. He silences, stirs, and distorts that information at her request. By the way, my servant Kasai is an old friend of my father's. That must be why Kasai knows many things. But I don't know. My father is involved in the curse's execution. My assumption is that although he gathered information on the police investigation about the case, he wasn't involved in the execution itself. The fact that my father and the hag have this close connection isn't widely known. People know that she uses his information network, but they don't look very far beyond that. In the same way, it's possible that a curse execution team exists under the hag's direct control. People just aren't aware of it. I mean, there has to be one, right? Because of what happened at the beginning of chapter 3. Unless it was faked. It wasn't actually Sonozaki's. The S group. Yeah, that'll be a stream. Yeah, we'll be back in like, what, 4 hours? 5 hours? Thereabout. Catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Shoutouts? No shoutouts. Besides, thanks for tuning in. Have a good one. Continue this shortly. I guess, yeah, when we come back, we'll beat this. We'll finish this. I don't know how much is left, but I'm sure it's reasonable. It's doable. So, Yeah. Catch you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.